This episode of Limit Break Radio is made possible by our generous Patreon donors, including Gigapantsu of Excalibur, Papa Cooldown of Balmung, and Prismatic Illusion of Leviathan. Thanks so much for your support. If you want to support Limit Break Radio, visit patreon.com/Limit Break Radio.
Are you ready to fight for fame, glory, and honor? Then come to Ul'dah for the Syndicate's new event titled Adventurer Mysteries Warzone. Adventurer Mysteries Warzone, or AMWAs, is a massive battleground filled with 100 bloodthirsty adventurers in a free-for-all fight to the death. The winner takes home boundless pride, tons of catgirl admirers, and of course, giant bags of gil. The 99 losers get shame and disgrace for the 10 seconds while they bleed out on the hot sand. You'll fight player unknowns aplenty in this death match, but the key to taking home the gold is survival in the harsh Thanalan desert. There's no entrance fee, so all you have to lose is your life. Do you have what it takes to win AMWAs? Sign up today.
Live from Eorzea.
Limit Break. With your hosts, Nero.
Now behold the horror you have wrought.
Kahlo.
I said don't take your clothes off.
Juxtaposition.
I don't get it.
Ascalia.
Holy shit, totally forgot about him.
And Mika.
Oh my god.
LimitBreakRadio.com.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to Limit Break Radio. God, what episode is it?
129.
Good God. Thanks for joining us here at twitch.tv/Limit Break Radio. Appreciate having you along. LimitBreakRadio.com is the website. You can go there and check out all 128 episodes that have preceded this. Also, we're hard at work on an archive project for our older shows. So,
We is a strong word.
Yeah,
We're making
right.
Skuro do it.
That's right. Yeah. So all of the 11 shows will eventually, you'll eventually find them over at lbrnetwork.com. And there's going to be more that's going to be added to lbrnetwork.com over time. So, but the space is now active, and we've actually moved the data over. So, if there are any broken links, if anyone ever finds any broken links to audio at our website, make sure that you let us know. Hosts at limitbreakradio.com.
I mean, there's probably still quite a few right now, but when it's finished, we'll let you know.
Right. Anyway, thanks for joining us here at twitch.tv/limitbreakradio. So, real quick, before we start the show in earnest, a couple of things that we've got to address. First of all, the fact that it's 90 degrees in September here in the studio, which makes this show really difficult to produce. We've had, I think it's now 3 solid weeks of production issues, and heat is a significant one. It'll add noise to the room. It becomes very uncomfortable for us to sit in here because we can't run the air conditioning and also do a podcast at the same time. That would not sound terribly good. So just so you guys know, if it's a slightly shorter show today, it's not because we don't like you. We actually don't like you, but...
That's not the reason.
No, it's not the reason. Oh, good. Jux is still muted. Yay! No, we started the show how I wanted to.
Nice. You know, y'all are lucky we don't bring this to you in smell-o-vision.
Right? Yeah, seriously. Because, you know, if the smell in this room could be described,
Putrid.
It's not. You know what? Look, Ascali is not here today. It's because he worked a double at work last night, and I don't blame him for not being here and sweating in a room with 3 other guys.
Well, at least we don't have to worry about his weird, like, perfume cologne smell also permeating the air.
True. That's true. That is true. Anyway, we are live from Eorzea. Let's kick it on over to our studios.
Chair.
Yeah, chair. Yay. If you want to join us, you can, of course, join us on the Sargentana server. That's the Goblet 5th Ward, plot number 30. And no, we're not going to move when the fucking... What is it?
Kagani.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Unmute me.
No, I'm not going to unmute you. This is your punishment.
I haven't even done anything yet.
You had a child. You had a child. This is your punishment for having a fucking child.
Wait, why would you be punished for that?
Because it was a bad decision.
Yeah, you
on
know
his
what? You know,
part.
he told me the other day when I'm like, "Hey, when do you want to play WoW next? So we can keep leveling up." You know, if you just want to level up without me, like that's cool because I don't have a lot of time to play now that I have a baby.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Now I'm being punished.
You're being fairly represented given how much time you have to be able to dedicate to this game anymore.
I mean, sorry, but I will say that children take priority over video games.
No, they
That's
don't.
just how,
Don't perpetuate that lie.
Then how come on the way up here he told me, man, all I can play now are one-handed games like Hearthstone and stuff because I have to have the baby in the other arm.
Oh no! Oh, boo-hoo! Oh, now all I can play are the games that I wanted to play, and now I have a perfectly valid excuse for it.
In fact, one of them auto-plays itself.
You fucking... What are you? You are not.
What are
you? You are not a man. I don't know what you are. You're not. You're definitely not a fucking gamer. But yet you fucking reproduce. Oh my god. I don't. How is?
Imply that only gamers reproduce?
No. 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 I said that humans reproduce. I don't know what you are.
I'm awesome.
Your bitch tits say otherwise. All right. Fine. I'll give you a fucking microphone. Because I feel like it. Because I made the decision.
So that makes it better?
Yeah.
He's in control.
That's right.
This is why he's the daddy.
That's why I'm the actual daddy and you're just a father in the most technical of terms.
Wait, so the baby is yours?
No, I'm not saying that. I never said that. I never said that. Daddy's
you're the actual
daddy's a
daddy.
fucking title. God damn it.
Father is a role.
That's
so you're
right.
going to be raising his kid.
No, I'm not doing that either.
He is Grandpappy and Annie.
Do you think it would be a good idea for me to raise a child?
He's never given his cat a bath.
What?
Keep him muted. Hashtag Juxta.
It's $10, man.
Muted.
Sorry.
Fuck you, Several Kevin.
See, but you're comparing you to Juxta.
No.
I don't know which one would be worse for the child.
Both are pretty bad.
Me,
equally.
definitely. Which is why I make the responsible decision to
Not procreate.
right.
Hold on, we're gonna go over the fact that Kyle just said that you give your cat a bath.
No, he's never
I've never
his
given
cat
my
a
cat a
bath.
bath.
Why would you give your cat a bath?
I never gave my cats baths. They bathe themselves.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what your obsession with bathing your cat is, but
I
that
don't
seems like a
either.
fucking bad
Cats
idea.
bathe themselves.
Yeah,
It's the only pussy gets a touch.
Lols.
that's definitely not true. I get to touch a lot of cats.
Let's talk about Kahlo.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm like for a second, I'm like, why is he defending me?
I don't know why I would have defended you. either.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Stupid dumb dick.
so yeah, it's very. Anyway, I don't know how we got there, but it's very hot in this studio.
Already?
Just so you guys know, yeah, already it's definitely getting warm. So I don't know what we're gonna have to do to be able to alleviate some of the problem, but I mean, like when it's hotter in the studio than it is outside, and it's 90 degrees outside. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's like I'm actually kind of impressed that no one passed out from heat stroke in FEC. Like
Well,
that was
at least for the guy wearing the fat suit.
yeah. I mean, specifically you. How did you not pass out?
Do I get to pass out? Is that a thing I can do?
No. only if it's involuntary.
Yeah, that was definitely voluntary. You're still fucking smiling, you imbecile.
Did he just like fall down or something?
No, he didn't even do it. No,
He just laid back in his chair.
How else do you pass out?
You fall down and violently smack your head on the desk. Crack your skull open.
yeah.
The way I'm positioned, if I just like lost all body movement, I would not fall forward. I fall backward.
And then his
And if
fat
he
would
fa-
slowly just slink out of the chair.
And if he fell forward, I'm pretty sure he would take the entire desk with him. It would just cave in.
Everything would cave in. I go through 8 floors. The whole apartment would just like collapse in on itself, and then we go through the center of the planet.
There's only 4 floors beneath us.
All floors, including the ones above us. It's called pressure, you idiot. Science.
I think you meant to say momentum.
No,
but
pressure.
Okay. All right.
Under pressure.
Sure. Yes.
Under pressure.
I gotta say, I think one of our crowning achievements in this show is the fact that we've got him. When we start to insult him, he just like goes full on and just insults himself even more.
I know.
Like to just get it all out of the way.
I know.
No, to show you assholes up, to show you how it's really done.
Oh, okay.
This is fucking child's play compared to middle school.
Were you fat in middle school?
Yes, I was fat all my life.
That's not true.
That is not true. When I
That's
met you in college, I would not have considered you fat.
Go back and look through some of the pictures from when you were on Happy Stream. That was about the time that me and you moved in together, when you were losing all that weight from eating pizza. You actually got really thin.
Happy Stream?
Yeah, you guys were on Mr. Happy Stream one time. Remember that first time that LBR, it was you, Aniro, and Nika.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I remember being on that stream, but
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't remember thinking he was really thin.
No.
He was. Like, if you actually go back and look at some of the pictures, yeah, it's
I
pretty
mean,
crazy.
I guess if you're comparing to now.
Yeah, exactly.
I think he's saying overall ever.
Bite me.
Is what Jax was talking about. I don't know.
I mean, the thinnest I've ever been was when the summer I did construction before coming back to college. So
Wow, how'd that go?
it was fine. It was really boring.
Yeah.
Yeah, I bet it was.
It was a failing construction company.
Like our failing podcast.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right. So, welcome to the show. Appreciate having you along. Twitch.tv/Limit Break Radio to watch us live starting at 4. Again, a little bit late today because it's hot and we got to cool it down in here. It's just the way things are. And also, finalencountercast.com if you want to check out our other talk show, and Checkpoint Radio to check out our actual radio show about video games. So,
and esports, kind of.
yeah.
Not really, because we don't know anything about
As a side
esports.
According
note,
to Reddit, right,
As
yeah.
a side note.
And then also something that I wanted to mention before we got into the news here is that we've started adding the Checkpoint Radio podcast back to all of our podcast feeds. Again, this is only temporary, but the hit that we took to the traffic on the podcasts was too great. So we encourage everyone to check those out while they're there, but we want to also encourage everyone to subscribe to the Checkpoint Radio podcast feed. If you like the show, you want to go the extra distance, leave us a little bit of rating and a review. We could read it on Checkpoint, but it helps out the company. Like, it helps out Limit Break Radio. It helps out everything that we do here, all of our efforts, just to have a little bit of interaction and a little bit of feedback from you guys. So we would appreciate it if you took the time and look Checkpoint Radio up on Apple Podcasts, iTunes, whatever you want to call it, and leave a rating and a review. All right. It's enough for me. Let's check out what's going on in FF14 News.
This is a Limit Breaking News Update.
Well, we're going to start off with the real important news today. Square-Enix claims that fans have been clamoring for this one for some time. And behold, it is finally here. Odin's noble steed, Sleipnir, is finally amongst the elite few that are no longer beholden to the ground. Now you can gallop through the clouds encased in an eerie purple glow. But that's not all, because just in time for Halloween, the witch's broom is also now a flyable mount.
How was this not a flyable mount before?
What?
Wait, it is.
Well, why is it in the up, and away, or the look at the
Is
sky
it-
thing?
Is it now on the cash shop?
That is part of it, that you can now buy either of them in the cash shop with, right now, for a limited time, 30% off.
And
I think that the
Decibels
broom-
Decibels is saying it's flyable.
It
Yeah, it
says the
definitely
animation
was.
effects for these special events incantations were so popular the players asked if it was possible to add the witch's broom year-round. Prepared to be enchanted.
Whatever.
It's stupid.
Yeah, fuck you, Square-Enix. How about
Yeah,
that?
pretty much.
It has an ability on it now. Like, you know how it has a mount ability, like some mounts of abilities?
What?
Like, they're adding the ability from the event to the Witch's Broom.
Oh my god, fuck off. Jesus, Square-Enix.
Glad we're wasting time with this
some
shit.
of the events, like the mount animations, like the fucking Easter egg that like opens, a little chocobo comes out. I do that all the time. It's so cute.
I mean, I guess. I don't know. I want
And
I want
Twintania's dive bomb. I mean, come on.
I want shit to play in this game, not
Are you
fucking
even
Easter
trying?
eggs. Like, honestly, I don't know. I don't know.
mental?
Yeah, pretty much. Don't worry. There's another one coming up here that I think you'll be really excited for.
Fucking great.
With patch 4.1 on the horizon, the official site has been updated with some new information, included a few screenshots that were released at the Tokyo Game Show. Stay tuned after the news, as we're going to dissect and give some of our thoughts on the little scraps of info that SE released prior to this upcoming live letter. And here we are, along with patch 4.1's MSQ, Squadron stuff, and the raid. Square-Enix has released a statement about some quality of life UI changes incoming as well. Among them are time indicators for the Chocobo companions, chat modes being saved after log off, the ability to summon a minion and your Chocobo simultaneously.
Come on, don't be shitty.
And a simplified version of the party finder, as well as others. So look forward to more stuff that should have been in this game from day one.
It's actually really frustrating that you can't summon a minion with a chocobo, because now that a chocobo is not a party member, when you're in the town, you can't see that your chocobo is summoned. So I'm in the town running around, I'm going to pull out a minion, and it's like, unable to do that while your chocobo is around.
First day Orzia problems.
But my chocobo is not here. It's lying to me. It really should have been infinite.
Well, good, Nika. I'm glad that they're finally going to take that weight off your shoulders.
Yeah.
Thank you. It was so frustrating.
Again, it's such a good thing to take up dev time with.
Yeah.
It actually is. I'm really mad that it wasn't in the game.
You know what? I can solve this fucking Chocobo minion issue real easily. Delete the fucking Chocobos. Done.
No.
Yes.
That's
done.
That's the only way that I'm able to
Who cares?
solo hunt as low-level jobs, is with my chocobos.
Who cares?
No, why would you delete those? That's stupid.
Delete
Shut
it.
up.
It's stupid.
Because you're lazy.
Why? Because we just wasted like a year of dev time making it so we can queue in Duty Finder with the Chocobo out, Nika.
I mean, it does.
The spaghetti code isn't worth the fucking Chocobo.
Like, it does make you wonder, because of how long it takes to get some of these features put in there, how much time it's taken to work the technical aspect of it. Like, and it's something that seems really stupid, right? Like, it would be really dumb to take a lot of time on. But, you know, like, some of those problems don't have easy fixes.
Yeah. Well, not to mention, to this day, the thing that still boggles my mind the most is that they have admitted that simple stuff like, you know, new glamour for a holiday event or crossover events, that's what it was, that crossover events take a year of planning and development. Since that announcement, or since that little tidbit of info, I never look at something and think, oh yeah, that's an easy fix. Like, maybe it should be. Like, we get a lot of like wannabe devs in our chats like, oh no, that's an easy fix. You guys wouldn't know because you've never worked on a game, but I promise that's an easy fix. Like, maybe it should be, but something tells me that with the way Square Enix does stuff, nothing is an easy fix.
Right. Yeah. There's very few things that are straightforward at all about the way that Square Enix makes a game. So, you know, adding content over time, we saw the way that complicated FF11, and I mean, part of that is poor planning on Square Enix and Sony's part, and only shipping a very small hard drive with it. But at the same time, though, you know, if you draw that parallel, you can see how easy it is to kind of get worked into a place where, you know what I mean? Like, problems become much, much, much harder to solve because of XYZ, whatever.
Yeah. Square Enix is putting the call out to all forms of artists in the FF14 community. It doesn't matter if you're a cosplayer, Nika, traditional or a digital artist, a sculptor or a musician. Square Enix is looking for talented individuals to submit their work to be showcased across all FF14 channels, including Facebook, Twitter, and maybe even live streams. Make sure that you stick around till the end of the second half of the show today, as we are also going to pay tribute and honor some musical talents in the FF14 community.
Yeah, limit-breaking music returns. So... Is
there a deadline to submit stuff?
I'm sure there is. If you go to Lodestone and check, like, they have a whole long list of things that you have to, like, take a look at and whatnot.
So what is this? Is this just Square Enix outsourcing? Like they're like we're completely devoid of any kind of original ideas. So you pitch us on some stuff.
I think it's basically they're finally doing what some other MMOs are doing, where like I know ESO has like a community team stream all the time where they feature community art and stuff from the players all the time. Like that's just a thing that they do on a regular basis.
Oh my God. I really would be curious to know what the stipulations on participating in this program would be.
Here's what I think, right? Because first of all, Nika, that's really, really cool. And I think any community or any game that wants to showcase, the art and whatnot for community, that's cool. That's fine. However, in this case, because this is like I don't want to say it's the first time they've done it, but the first time I feel like they put a big call out when it hasn't been like the beginning of an expansion or something.
Yeah.
And based on the fact that we feel like we're getting less and less development time, I think they're looking ahead to like the next, live letter or two, and they're like, oh man, we're going to need stuff to fill that up with. Hey, why don't we showcase some art on the next producer live letter to fill up time?
I mean, that's entirely possible, but at the same time, I mean, we've seen interest in this game waning and waning harder now in Stormblood than ever. I mean, it started in Heavensward, but the bleed of players that run, like as soon as they run out of tome gear to grind, that ends the current patch for them. The number of those increases every patch and expansion that we get. And it's still, I mean, it's just as bad in Stormblood as it was in Heavensward, if not worse. So, all of these people who were giving us, ungodly amounts of shit of like, oh, well, there's tons of people logging in. Yeah, of course, because we were, when you were saying that, we were 3 weeks out from the release of the expansion. Now we're much deeper.
2 months it's been about,
We're
right?
much deeper, and we're closer to 4.1 than we are to the 4.0.
Right.
And look at server populations right now. Look at player populations right the fuck now. Right now. Like, it's easy to make that straw man argument when there are a bunch of people, new, old, whatever, that are logging in. Fucking tell me who's logging in right now.
Of new players.
Of our listener base, who's logging in right now?
I am.
Come on, show us in the chat who's logging in. I mean, I do every Tuesday for Reset Day.
Nika, is it not dismaying the lack of people that you see when you're just walking around? I mean, you're logged on more than any of us.
I mean, it depends. Like, are you talking about just like out in the field?
Yeah, anywhere, towns, field,
the
whatever,
the town
wherever.
doesn't feel empty.
It does. Oh my God, it does.
But going out when I do because I've been doing like leave quests and stuff to level up botanist and miner and that kind of stuff, and like when the expansion first came out, I used to see people everywhere. I don't see anyone out in the field very often anymore. But in the towns feel fine.
To me, Ralgar's Reach feels more empty now than what Ivalice did at the end of Stormblood.
Yes, that was where I was going with that. And there's not,
Ralgar's Reach is a lot more spread out, though.
It is a little bit more spread out, but this bullshit argument that people will bring up a lot of times, oh, well, you had Palace of the Dead, so you had a lot of people hanging out in Hirsmill or wherever the fuck that was, and you don't have that anymore. So all your player base, even your idle player base, should be hanging around in town zones.
They're all still hanging out at Palace of the Dead. They're all still there.
There's a lot of people out there.
Is there really?
Yeah. I mean, that's the only way to level up now.
Like, people are doing that even to level in Stormblood jobs to get them from 60 to 70. They're doing
I know. I mean, I realize that. It's just, like, you walk around Kugane, you walk around Ralgar's Reach, they're both fucking remarkably empty.
There's not enough people in places they should be
are pretty crowded all the time, but...
Say that again?
Kugane Market Board area, that's always pretty crowded.
That part of the problem might be why would you be in Ralgar's Reach? What's actually there?
The same things that were in Idleshire.
The tome exchange.
The tome turn-ins, the Alexander turn-ins, the primal, like the Ixion, all the different like turn-in things are in there, which is the exact same things that were in Idleshire.
Right.
Except Idleshire also then got Wondrous Tales. It got Zloe.
I was going to say, we still have to go back to there for Chloe.
Right. Like a lot of those got left back in Idleshire. Yeah.
Yeah, and the thing is that and then also part of the relic when we had to go and like do the anima and the sand increase, that was there. So when Idleshire first came out, it was exactly the way Ralgar's Reach is now. I'm going to assume that like everything as it moves forward is also going to be added to Ralgar's Reach and will then be kind of.
I don't know about that. I think
either.
that there's going to be a couple of NPCs that are left behind in Idleshire, much like when we moved from.
Rowena follows us around. You don't think anyone else is going to follow us around?
I mean, well, no. I think that there are a few, but we already have those NPCs. I think the ones that have been left behind are going to stay in Idleshire, much like the couple of NPCs that stayed behind in Mordona when we moved from Mordona to Idleshire, right?
But we're going to get new NPCs. There's going to be like a new, the new relic thing. There'll be NPCs added there, so we'll have more reasons to go there. It's just
right.
not there yet.
People also seem to prefer hanging out in Kugane this expansion,
I've
where
noticed.
nobody wanted to hang out in
stupid
Ishgard.
place.
Ishgard.
Ishgard, yeah, you're right. Ishgard was remarkably empty, and everyone
knew it.
Everyone seemed to crowd around in Idleshire, and now you do have.
The weebs
People
are
are
in there
splitting
now.
between the two now.
You got the weeaboos that want to hang out in
Shitsville.
Yeah,
I just feel like there's more to do there. Like, I'm always there grabbing my leave quests. I'm there crafting there because of the market board. Like, it's
does
more
leave
convenient there.
Right? What an idiot.
Because that's how you level botany and mining. How else do you level that?
Nika, what's the fucking? I've been sitting here trying to think of what the female character from Inuyasha's name is.
Kagome.
Oh yeah, that's it. Okay, yeah. Wow, how shockingly close to one another they are. Okay, I'm just gonna call it Kagome from now on.
Instead of Kugane.
Yeah, right. Because I'm sure that people. No,
I mean.
there's only 120 people that are listening to this part of it, so they're gonna hear it and it'll. I don't know, maybe drive them nuts or something.
The biggest problem that I have right now when I log in to do reset, right? Because that's all I do. I log in, I'll do the roulettes, and I'll do some of the Omega raids, right? I have no desire whatsoever to worry about capping creation tomes at all, because as far as I'm concerned, when 4.1 drops, it's going to be dead on arrival because there's no item level increase, right? So basically, if you get lucky enough, you can do it 4 weeks and get all your glamour, because that's probably all you're going to need it for, and then never touch it again.
Absolutely. You're totally right. You're totally fucking right. Because
but that's always how the 24-man is, and I hate that. Like, especially even as a raider, like, I'm doing tomes, I'm doing raid gear, and then the 24-man comes out, and it's all lower eye level than what I already have.
Yeah, so it's even worse for you.
Yeah, it is. I'll do it a couple times to, like, get some gear for my next job, but at that point, I'm just like,
so if you've got your tome gear, you're done. You're done. Congratulations. You're done. You're done for like a half a year.
4.2?
Yeah.
Whenever that comes.
Awesome.
Jeez.
So I'm just hoping that it's a little different, because like it almost sounds like there's going to be actual lore and stuff. But again, it's cool the first couple times you do it, then it's like, why bother?
Tell me again how I was wrong about Stormblood. Tell me again about how Stormblood is injecting all of this new creative stuff to FF14.
Well, it's coming with Eureka, okay?
Please tell me.
Eureka. The content is coming, okay, guys? The content is coming. Winter is coming. It's going to come.
Ned Stark's going to bring it.
Let's go to our phone lines. Let's talk to Mr. Zamfir. What's up, Mr. Zamfir?
Yo. So I was wanting to talk. Well, I ask you guys about what unique does XIV even do? Can you guys name anything?
What do you mean?
What does it? So in the grand scheme of MMOs, Zamfir, what you're talking about is, compared to all of the other online games out there, what does FF14 do that is unique unto itself?
Yeah.
How does it change?
Think of a single thing.
Right. How does it change the genre of MMOs?
Can I answer before Nika does?
No,
because
I'd actually like Nika to go first, considering that FF11 and 14, I'm pretty sure, are her only experiences in MMO. So she, of all people, would know.
It's 11 that I guess had done more things, but 14, yeah. So when I'm thinking about it now, because 11 was the one that first had to have multiple jobs on one character.
Yeah,
that was like the biggest deal. 14.
Maybe think on it, Nika.
Yeah,
for a sec.
I'll get back to you.
Juxta, go ahead then.
I was gonna say the new job, or all your jobs on one character. Yep. That's the biggest unique thing.
But that was 11. But again, that was 11.
11's dead. Okay.
No, but
may it rest in pieces.
You can't discount the timeline of history, because we're talking about what does FF14 bring that's unique to the table, and the servers are still up for FF11. So
they brought that to the table.
Exactly.
But again, if you're looking for an MMO to start, you're not going to start that one. Like, people are like, okay, I want an MMO where I don't have to make 20 characters to play all 20 jobs. You're going to play 14.
Matter.
You're not going to play 11.
Nika, it doesn't
that's
matter.
Unique thing that 14 has.
It doesn't matter. Derivative is still fucking derivative. If you're taking it from another game, even if you made the game, it's still fucking derivative.
There you go, Paul Bunyan. Changing jobs on the fly. You can just change wherever you want.
Okay, fine.
11 doesn't have that.
I will accept that.
Yes,
I will accept that
Yep.
about 14.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
You got anything else, Juxta?
I was going to say story-driven content instead of having it just be shitty like World of Warcraft. But now you're going to say...
No. Yeah, technically, I think if you're going to credit that to any MMO, you got to give the nod to
11?
Star Wars: The Old Republic. Because they did the story-driven shit
first.
Way before FF14 had what you could even call a pasted together story. The FF14 1.0 story was in-fucking-comprehensible, mostly because the guy who was originally writing it and making it had no idea what the fuck he wanted, and then they fired him and brought in another guy who took it in a different direction and blew it the fuck up.
Blew the world up, literally.
So it was only really story-driven once we got to the other side of the calamity. Once 2.0 happened, the first real tangible, honestly, the first real tangible hook into getting us into the story is that last cutscene of 1.0. There's nothing, I guarantee you, because you haven't gone and watched, I know that, but I guarantee you, if you tried to invest yourself in the story of 1.0, you could not fucking do it. You couldn't do it. Not without knowing what comes in 2.0. There was just nothing to hold on to. Nothing. So the idea of story-driven content making an MMO or being the reason that somebody wants to play through an MMO, I think you've got to give that nod to Star Wars: The Old Republic.
But again, his question wasn't what does FF14 do first. It's what's unique in an MMO when you're looking for an MMO to play.
Right, but
and I feel like, you can say, Star Wars: The Old Republic was the first one to have a really good story. If you're looking for an MMO with a good story, you're going to pick 14.
Okay,
that's just how it is.
But see, other games have started to...
Star Wars? No one.
Other people have started to do that well, too, like with Legion and their artifact system thing and the way that they're doing their story now. That's just, it's a lot better than the end of Heavensward and all of Stormblood.
Hang on. What on a technical level did FF14 deliver with that story that changed MMOs, the way that MMOs move forward? Is there anything? Because the best I can tell, it comes down to writing, cutscenes, and the execution of those cutscenes both in-engine and out-of-engine. That's it. That's really it.
The one time that FF14 got really, really ballsy and killed off one of the leaders of one of the main cities? Remember when the Sultana died?
Oh,
guys,
you mean when she didn't die?
So I mean, honestly,
but if you look at some of the structures, we complained about the raid structure, but when it first came out in A Realm Reborn, the 24-man structures where you had to split into 3 parties, that was pretty cool. You would actually have mechanics where one party would go here and one party would go here. It was different. It was something we hadn't really seen before.
Are you playing a different 24-man raid? Because we never split off except for Atmos, which we didn't.
Okay. Also, I'm going to give her a pass when she says, when have we ever seen anything like that ever before?
Except for every fucking other MMO.
Every, WoW expansion
Seriously,
ever.
Dude. Yeah.
Nika, look.
With the big instance raids, have you go in different directions and everything?
Except, all right. What specifically? Give us one of those directions that we took.
Well, yes, they did, but they weren't so explicit with what the fuck they wanted from you, and you had to kind of infer some shit as a player. There's a whole big room of enemies, and only specific ones will get you to advance. Think of it kind of salvage-ish, right? That's the way that a lot of raids were designed for a long time, and it came down to the player ending up testing it. Now the raids that we get, we're handheld till we get to the boss, and it's a straight line till we get to the boss. There's no variation. There's nothing, and Square Enix did not bring that in an iota with FF14. So, I would say, if anything, their rating is the most derivative thing that they've got going.
Yeah, and Nika, the only time that you quote-unquote split in Crystal Tower was, like Juxta said, when you had to do Atmos, and you were just on different platforms, but still in view of each other.
Yeah, but there was also, like, different parts where, like, different parties had to protect different pots, or, like, different...
That's just...
That's a boss fight, Nika.
That's just...
That's literally a boss fight.
In some of the... Was it Alexander raids? You had to go down different, those little chutes, and you'd split in two different directions. You wouldn't even be on the same platform. You'd be in total opposite
Nika, but you're
sides of the
still
room.
doing the same thing.
That's just rating. That's not new.
That's not new.
That's
I'm
not
sorry.
new
I'm sorry, Nika.
And actually, in 1.0, and I think Cutter's Cry, the original 1.0 had two people dropped on one side, two people dropped on the other, and you actually kind of were doing different things.
Yep, that's not unique to rating, Nika.
That was 1.0 dungeons.
That's not unique to dungeons,
that's not unique.
I promise you, at some point in the past, an MMO has had a dungeon where two party members had to split off from two other party members.
Again, we're not asking about what 14 did first. We're asking about what's unique if you're looking for an MMO. That's not unique.
But that's not unique. Yeah, it's not unique.
Okay,
it's
okay,
fucking derivative.
That's fair. But then again, bringing back something saying, "Oh, probably at some point in time, maybe an MMO has done that before."
No, they
is not telling me anything.
have.
Okay, sure. But if a relevant one that someone's going to pick right now, I see that WoW has some of that, sure. But if you're saying that some MMO somewhere has done it, that's not relevant to the conversation.
And I can't fucking stand being in the same room with her.
Look, it is about every MMO that's come before it, because if another MMO did it and you're just stealing it, that's fucking derivative. There's no creativity that's involved with that shit.
Here's a great quote from the chat, Nika. It says, "I think Nika needs to join some of us for a WoW raid for a few months to get perspective." You want to know who said that, Nika?
I know, Strife. God.
All right.
Strife has been trying to get us all to play WoW for like 8 months. I'm not listening to him anymore about anything to do with WoW.
But I mean,
Strife is probably the smartest person in your raid, Nika.
Are we really trying to split hairs over splitting the fucking party up? Like, that's not even a mechanic that's unique to an MMO. That mechanic has been done in Final Fantasy games for fucking eons.
Every D&D game you ever do.
Fucking Christ, yeah. Like, it is like almost a goddamn trope in RPGs. So no, I don't accept that. I don't accept that at all.
Do we still have our caller?
Yeah, we should. We should.
Yeah. Caller, did you have something in mind that you think that 14 does unique?
14 has nothing unique to it. The story's not the best. The class switching's been done in Korean MMOs for years before 14 did it. Nothing in XIV is unique. The raids aren't unique. The most unique thing about XIV is the overall polish it has.
See, and I think, and you know what? I think that this is a valid criticism, because 14, I think, at a lot of points, very much feels like a game that has been designed through feedback and through focus group testing and through the safest possible marketing decisions. I mean, even though they're goddamn incomprehensible to us, but I mean, like, that's where you get like conservative, like really, and it's not like politically liberal or conservative, but these very conservative decisions, like put it on the Mrs. Freshley's package, because that's going to be the widest, the thing that's seen by the most people. They're decisions that really only serve, like, they really only serve to just try to win in the numbers game, and I don't know
what looks good on paper.
Yeah, exactly. And I just don't know that that's the best way to try to make things move with your MMO. There's all this emphasis and all of this attention by Square Enix being paid to trying to attract new players. We've identified that 100 different times in 100 different ways, straight from their marketing to the way that they design content. Everything about this game is not designed for those that have been playing it for the longest. It is designed for those that have been playing it the shortest. And those are the people that are able to reap the most benefit out of what Square Enix has been designing over the past year and a half. And I think that that's the wrong way to cultivate an online community. That's the wrong way to cultivate an audience around an MMO. You have that initial glut of people that you want to attract. Their opportunity to do that was 2.0. And here's the thing. I think Square Enix is fucking greedy. I think they're super greedy because they should have had this longer opportunity that they've made now between 2.0, Heavensward, and Stormblood to try to, over 3 fucking expansions, attract new players. But the thing that they don't remember, or that they may not realize, is that they had that time once already. That was called 2010 through 2012. That's all you get. That's all you fucking get. You get 3 fucking years to try to get people in the door. After that, you got to try to keep them there. And this is exactly what happens when you don't do that. Everyone who's been playing this game for longer than a year has jack shit to do for 6 months at a fucking time. And if you want to tell me that that's not frustrating, or if you want to tell me that that's an appropriate way to space out content in an MMO, I'm going to look at you and tell you how fucking dead wrong you fucking are. That is a bad way, and the numbers prove it. The engagement proves it. The number of people logging in every day proves it. Someone tell me I'm wrong. Not you, Zamfir. I'm not trying to pick on you, but the thing, someone somewhere try to tell me I'm fucking wrong about this. It's bad. It's bad for the game, and the fact that Square Enix burned that time fucking around with 1.0 and relaunching it from 2.0 onward. It should have been about the people that you got. The people that stayed there from 1.0 and the people that you got from 2.0.
This can kind of lead to my other point. XIV will go free to play. I can guarantee you. Not full free to play, though.
I'm telling you, if 11 is not free to play by now, 14 will never be.
Here's why XIV will go free to play. Just like Guild Wars 2 did, they can sell you the $20 expansion for Heavensward and Stormblood.
Yep.
Getting everyone in the base game, but guess what? Pay $5 for Dark Knight. Pay $5 for Machinist. Pay $5 for Astra. Pay $10 for Red Mage. Pay $10 for
the structure.
What 14
pay $15 a month for all of it.
What 14 has that 11 doesn't have, Nika, is if you were to take away the subscription model, how does it make money? 11 doesn't have a cash shop. 14 does.
Yeah.
And with the amount of stuff that they have been continuously churning out more and more and more, they absolutely could take this free to play and make the money off the cash shop.
And I actually think that Zamfir brings up a really interesting point, because with what they did with the battle changes, they could very easily say, look, this is going free to play. You can pay to unlock a job that you want. The rest are locked off to you, because you know what? You don't have cross-class abilities anymore. You can only have one job unlocked and get it all the way to fucking 70 and have that be appropriate. You don't have to level multiple jobs. So if they wanted to do that, if they wanted to try to nickel and dime that out of people, or just pay, as Zamfir had suggested, or just pay the $14 to get the full fucking game, I think that they would try to spin that off as like this brand new hybridized MMO model. And you know what? If they do that, fuck you. Fuck you. Zamfir, I don't doubt
He's not fucking you.
I'm not saying fuck you specifically, Zamfir. I'm saying fuck Square Enix if they do that.
That's
because
what everyone should be saying.
That is a bullshit chintzy move that's done for fucking money. For fucking money.
They could sell, if you paid a monthly subscription, you get 2 weekly loots from Savage. Like every free-to-play MMO does already.
Yeah.
And they can sell you the Hildebrand quest line for $10 extra, or if you're paying the weekly sub, you get it for free.
Yeah.
As long as you're paying monthly.
Yeah, I mean, that whole idea that, Yoshi P stood on stage and said, no pay to win. That only really holds up for, the next year until they start bringing out the next series of content. And I guarantee, Zamfir, I think, brings up a really great point. By the time we get to 5.0, there is a very, very good chance that we're going to see the payment method and model adjusted for this game. And it's not, I guarantee you, if they adjust it, it's not going to be pretty. It's not going to be what we want.
Expansion.
You think it's going to happen in Stormblood?
At 4.55. Right before the new one.
I don't see this happening till like 7.0.
It depends on how quickly they shed players.
Yeah.
It's because everyone is going to quit right at the end of this for now year-long wait for actual content.
But again, people do that every expansion.
Paying for shit and then buying the new expansion. Because the expansion sales don't make that much money. What makes more money is those stupid-ass dresses they sell in the mall store for $20. Just have people buy those and they're much cheaper to make.
Yeah, well, there's no overhead. I mean, at least with a fucking expansion, they've got to print boxes out. You know what I mean? Like, there's literally
well, you can buy digital. You don't have.
That's true. But I mean, like,
Square-Enix still prints the boxes.
Yeah, and they make the marketing material. Right? There is cost associated with that, and there's development cost. But there's almost no, like, one single item in FF14. How long do you think that takes to make?
A year.
Really?
It depends. If we're talking about these scythes that you have to buy per fucking job. You're like, what, quadruple dipping at that point?
I'm just saying that, there's not that much overhead dev cost associated with these small items, and then they rake it in every time.
It would take like a week to make a whole full outfit for every race in the game.
Yeah.
That's how long it should take.
Should take. Yeah.
FFXIV developers, it could take a month.
Cecil here in the chat says that they're burning players faster than they're making content. And Nika, you just said that at the end of an expansion, it's true for any MMO that people fall off. I agree with that.
Yeah, and Yoshi was actually saying, though, too, that, like, we should do that. Go play other games and come back. So what do they care?
We're not at the end of an expansion. We're still at the start of the expansion. Right. We're not going to get another item level increase till 4.2, which probably isn't going to happen until January. It's happening in the middle, the beginning of an expansion. People are falling off right now with a patch on the horizon.
The sentiment is much closer to where it was in 3.3 or 3.4 in terms of the community base, and we're at 4.1, right? Like, it like... in the entirety of 2.0, I don't know that it ever dipped as low as it did during 3 and the latter half of 3. And now, right out of the gate of 4.1, we're still dealing with that. There was almost no ability to regain. Like, there was no ground that Square Enix regained between the two of them. And if it was so fucking fleeting.
I know, but we've discussed this so many times. Like, we know the reasoning for this is because the reason we all stuck around and didn't have that mentality for so long in Heaven's Word is because we thought they weren't going to continue repeating the raid, then 24-man raid, the 24-man cycle that they've been doing, which we then saw that they did. And then we're like, okay, let's see what happens with 4.1. This is their last chance, and they're still repeating it. That's why I feel like I'm giving it until Eureka to see what the fuck's going on with that.
So 4.2.
Yeah, and we'll go from there because it's just...
Actually,
like, as much fun as I have doing the content, if it's the only content we have, it gets boring. No, again, it's not that the content's, and I say this in every episode. It's not that the content we have is bad. It's just that it's the only content we have, and it gets burnt out and boring. When I just wish that I could do the current rating that I have on Tuesday, Thursday, and then do something else on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, like something different. Right. And it's just that doesn't exist in this game, and that's what we need. They know that, and for some reason, they're not giving it to us, and that's where I don't understand.
The for some reason part, again, I think that I've found that reason, and it's because they don't value their long-term players. What they value is they want more people coming in the door. And again, I think that's fucking greedy, because at some point an MMO intrinsically has to switch from trying to attract people in to trying to keep people there. Right?
I think now is that point. Like, we're in the third expansion or whatever. Now is that point.
Yes. In fact, they could have done it at 3.0. And I think it would have been muddier water at 3.0, but they could have done it at 3.0. And now that we're at 4.0, they needed to do it. This was the point where if they didn't, they would be getting people falling off. And the thing that fucking pisses me off is the fact that they had, they had 1.0 and the original launch of this game in 2010 to suss all this shit out, and they fucked it up so bad that they think that when they re-released A Realm Reborn that set the slate back. It doesn't. Like, the fact that this game is fucking 7 years old and still trying to attract new players to it is insane. It is insane. It doesn't make sense. It's aging visually. It's aging performance-wise. And what are they going to do? Nika, what are they going to do? If they don't keep the players that they have and the game is showing its age in terms of a game. What do they market off of? What do they try to sell people on?
They're not realizing that in the eyes of a person who has never touched this game, 14 already looks like a good game. Like, they've heard people talk about how much fun it was after it sucked and then it get rebooted. Like, people hear that. They've seen all the ads for the expansions, and I see people every day on Facebook talking about how many people play this? Should I start? Like, I hear good things. Should I play? Good. Like, people who are interested in playing already know that it's a good game. So what they do need to do is switch their focus completely to retaining the long-term players, because the new players already know it's here. They already are interested, and they need to stop trying so hard on what's already been done. Like, they already have that image in people's eyes that haven't played this game before. Now, what's going to happen now is they're going to hear, oh, I just hear all my friends play it for a year and quit. That's what we don't need to hear. What we need to hear is, oh, my friends have been playing for 8 years and they don't ever want to stop. That's what new players need to hear at this point.
But that was way closer to what my experience with FF11 was, where, like, when I quit, it was more like I was sad to quit. I would not be sad to quit FF14 right now. Honestly, I wouldn't. I mean, the fact that I don't log on as much as I used to, like, it bothers me from the standpoint of, like, I want to enjoy this game. And I'm not.
Yes.
And the thing is that, like, I can only be honest with myself. I do a really, really bad job of lying to myself, because I call that shit out all the time. I'm very, very, like, as a person, that's part of my personality. Very, like, coldly honest with myself, right? That's why I don't have a lot of self-esteem. I don't lie to myself. And I can't lie to myself about how much or little I'm enjoying this fucking game to try to be able to, maintain an audience for this show. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, like, yeah, we're trying to make a business out of this, and our bread is buttered by FF14, but I can't fucking lie. I can't lie to myself. I can't lie to you guys. Like, that would be fucked up, and I don't want to fucking do that. But I'm saddled now. You know, I'm stuck talking about a game that I liked. I liked it 2 years ago. I don't like it that much anymore, and that drives me fucking crazy. It drives me fucking crazy, because I know that there are plenty of other people out there that feel exactly the same way. And had it not been for the fact that it's just the same fucking shit, had it not been for the fact that it's just the same fucking thing over and over and over again, they'd still find value. They would find the value out of it.
Aniro, Gokai Pink has brought a very, very new perspective on the problem. He says,
good.
Quit and unsub.
That solves everything.
Everything is solved now. Thank you so much, Gokai Pink. We never
quitting and
never thought
unsubbing
of that.
does not solve any problems.
No, it doesn't.
I don't think people like Gokai don't realize why we continue the show. Even though I do play pretty much every day, I still don't like a lot of things about this game, and I don't think you are realizing, sir, why we continue this show even though we have issues with this game. It's clearly because quitting and unsubbing does not make this game better.
No.
We do not want this game to fail. It just is failing, and we are trying to do what we can as players to make sure that doesn't happen.
So
because
please,
the last thing we need is to hear about how the game used to be good and it's not anymore. Like, I can tell you that until I quit 11, I was recommending 11 to new people. I would not really recommend a new player to start 14.
Yeah.
No, exactly. Yes, and that's a fucking problem.
And he says it would solve it for you. And that's wrong. Us quitting and unsubbing wouldn't solve anything for us. What that would solve is the problem people like you have with hearing dissenting opinions. When we first started this game, we fucking loved it. That's why we don't want to unsub. That's why we don't want to quit. Because we saw what it was, what it should be, and we've since see it go downhill. So no, quitting and unsubbing doesn't solve that. It doesn't give us back what we had and what we enjoyed about the game. It's just admitting defeat, that the game's a piece of shit.
The problem we have is that the game is not getting better and we want to see it succeed. How does us quitting solve that problem for us? All that does is then give me literally nothing to do, and that makes me even more bored. So no, quitting and unsubbing would not solve any problem. All it would do is, and then we're not supporting the game that we want to succeed, the game that we've stuck around with for 7 years. Like, that's not, I don't, shut up.
And I mean, you know, Gokai Pink asks, and do you still love it? Yeah, absolutely. I still love this game. I don't love playing it right now. I love this game. I love the people that I've met playing this game. I just don't like the act of playing it right now because it's been the same fucking thing. It's been exactly the same thing that I've experienced for, the 2 expansions previous.
Gokai says you get burnt out taking your breaks. It's a good thing. We've all done that. We've all taken breaks and come back to this. But the thing is that when we come back, nothing has changed.
Nothing changes.
That's the issue. We're burnt out on the same. There's I will
cycle.
never stress enough how there's only one type of end game in this game. The end game is not bad. It's just the only type. How many by FF11's 3rd expansion, how many different types of end game could you do? And we had a link shell for every single different thing. And on every different day of the week, I was doing a different piece of end game content.
Whoa. Are you saying you want this to be like FF11, Nico?
Oh my God, no. That's the thing, is that just because FF11 had ideas that's done right does not mean, again, that I want this to be like FF11. What I want is just variety. Give me more to do at endgame. Right now, the reason new players are playing it is because the lower levels are fun. Seeing new dungeons, seeing new things, learning the lore, that's a lot of fun. But once you hit endgame, in 11, I used to say, once you hit 75, the game begins. Here I'm saying, once you hit 75, you got one thing to do for the rest of your life.
Yeah, and it's actually even less because, it's even less now because raids have been simplified to the same point that trials were.
And think about it this way, Gokai Pink. If we just stopped playing and we didn't complain about it and we didn't voice our grievances, do you really think that we would be getting a Savage hard mode right now in 4.0?
Probably not.
No, we wouldn't.
Probably.
Because Square-Enix would think everything was fine and dandy.
You got to voice your opinion if you want to be heard.
Yeah. And the thing is just, saying just quit, just stop doing it. That doesn't actually address the problem that the game fucking sucks. That the game as a game and as an MMO has a real fucking problem of people quitting already. That's the problem we're identifying. And all you're asking us to do is add to the fucking problem and shut our mouths.
Stop this issue at all.
I'm so fucking tired of putting up with this, with anyone who puts forward the argument, well, then just shut up about it. Fuck no. How about you argue about it? How about you fucking engage about it? How about you fucking call our fucking phone number and you tell me why I'm wrong? Why not? What the fuck better do you have to do?
Better to add the problem than to let it slide? I don't understand what you're saying. You're saying you'd rather us quit? Nobody's letting anything slide. Because we're not quitting, we are voicing our opinion and saying, this is what we see in the game and this is what we want changed.
Dude, and
quitting,
you know what?
I don't understand what you're saying.
Oh, here we go. Have you done
Okay. All right.
Have I done Savage? Yes. Have I done Problems?
Oh my God.
Yes.
Don't even justify that with a fucking response. Because here's the fucking thing, is that this is exactly the argument that you're met with every single time. Well, you haven't done this, so you don't really know. There's so much more to do, but you're just not really even considering it. You're not considering all the fucking options. I'm so tired of this shit.
There's only one option.
I'm so tired of this shit.
With 11, when you got to the end game, you had 8 different end game options to do. So you would just join a Dynamis link shell if that's what you liked, and you wouldn't do Sky or Ground Kings. You just wouldn't. Or maybe you hated Dynamis because it was boring, then you would just get a Sky link shell. There were so many different things you could do. Or ZNMs. Or
Salvage.
Fucking Limbus. There were so many different things that you could do.
Here's the only point that I will agree with Gokai Pink on, is that Square-Enix doesn't care about anything except subscriber numbers. And as long as they're making their subscriber numbers, they're going to continue to do what they think is best for the game.
You're agreeing that we should all just quit, because if we all quit, then the subscriber numbers would go down.
I actually do think that there is efficacy in something like that.
But we have to arrange a mass exodus of 80% of the players to quit on the same day for them to notice.
But that's the thing, is that I'm not going to be the one to make that call, because I also understand that the life and death of an MMO is based on its subscriber numbers. Mm-hmm. So at the risk of having something happen that's much more drastic, as our caller Zamfir is predicting, like free-to-play coming to FF14, that's why I make the choice to stay subscribed. I actually care about the quality of this game enough to give my money over to Square Enix, even if it's a game that I'm not playing or that I'm not happy with. When I finally do pull that plug, that is when I'm walking away from this game permanently, and I'm not looking back.
Yep.
That's my final straw. Once I pull my sub, that's it for me. I'm done, and I'm not looking back because I'm not gonna do this will he won't he bullshit with whether I'm gonna sub or not. Because I fucking hate that, and that kind like that kind of consumptive pattern just bothers me as a human being. And that's an opinion. That's not fact. That's just an opinion.
No, but that sort of behavior is exactly why they're doubling down on bringing new people in. Because
exactly.
When they look at the numbers, so a Nero unsubbed, but every time he's unsubbed, he's came back in at new injection of a patch. We don't have to worry about them. They're gonna keep coming back every single time, so let's bring more people in. And this is what's gonna be the death of the game. By the time they realize, right, when it actually gets to the point where people don't start coming back, they're not going to have the long-term players to try and build up. Now they're going to have to try and double down even more on bringing new people in, and it's not going to work.
Yeah, that's really what's at the heart of this conversation, is that the tactics that Square-Enix are trying to use to even retain the most amount of people and try to do what makes the best business sense for them is not going to work for all of the reasons that we've laid out. And the problem is we have no input on this game whatsoever. We get to sit around and yell about it and complain about it every week, and we have, our opinions that get put out to the community and they reverberate in some way, but that's our only small way that we can affect the development of this game. None of us actually work on this fucking game. None of us can actually challenge any of the internal data, which, by the way, we're not privy to. None of us can challenge that data with any meaningful, any meaningful method, because you know what? We're kept at arm's length as community members, as a show, and you know what? Frankly, I kind of like it that way. I don't mind. I'm not bemoaning that. I'm not complaining about being kept at arm's length. That's fine. I'm quite comfortable with that. The people who should be way more concerned about this and should be having this fucking dialogue, as far as I'm concerned, is Square-Enix. And guess what? The dialogue is tough. The dialogue might hurt your feelings, but guess what? It's necessary if we want to try to see a better game come out of it. Now, the sad part is that for all of the discussion that we can put forward here on Limit Break Radio doesn't necessarily make a damn bit of difference unless someone at Square-Enix hears it and brings it to the table, because they're the only ones that control anything about this fucking game.
Well, and even if they do, I don't actually think that Square-Enix knows how to properly dissect the information that's coming in, and you can see that when they nerf something like Steps of Faith, or when they nerf something like rating, and then when people cry that, it's too easy, you're making it too casual, they go, well, then we don't know what you want. It's like they think this is all coming from the same people, right? With Menagerie, right? They're like, look, we're not making that easy, which is great. I'm glad you did. But I feel like the way they see it is the player base can't decide. Do they want it easier? Do they want it harder?
Exactly.
The player base wants everything because the player base is everyone.
Yes. So what you need to do, Square Enix, is figure out what is best for retaining your player base.
Yes. Exactly.
Boom.
Even the whole concept of bringing in new players is illogical because there is a finite amount of new players you can bring in. At some point, that well is gone.
It's done.
At best, like let's say you get every single person who would ever play in the world to play 14. What do you do then?
Get more new players.
You can't. It's gone.
They're going to have babies.
No,
Get
not
the babies.
in their mind.
But
you have to convince the people who don't even play games to only pick up this game.
Oh, so
and the way you do that is by having those people's friends play 14 and say, "What a great game! I've been playing this game for 8 fucking years."
Exactly. The other approach, and Juxta, I know you're going to get mad at me, is the Nintendo approach. The Nintendo approach, where they're just like, we're gonna keep throwing things out there for new people, and that's where you get.
To be fair, Nintendo is the kiddie company, so we can get them started young, like
they're the
6.
family company.
But I mean, like, fine, put out the Wii, and then make something good for it, right? Like, what Nintendo did, they put out the Wii, and then there's just tons of fucking shovelware, and it ended up.
And the Wii was okay. The Wii U, I don't.
But they had that initial glut of people there that were able to make the system a success in the first place. FF14 had a good glut of people, but it wasn't it was never the most successful MMO. And so, at that point, you have to, if you want to stay alive, you've got to switch to retention. I don't know if our caller was still on the air, Zamfer, but thank you, Zamfer. We appreciate the call.
And the conversation.
Again, I really do. I want to encourage anyone that wants to challenge this, especially anyone in our chat that was trying to challenge this. And again, don't, if you call and you start throwing things around like, oh, well, have you even done Savage? Argue the fucking point. Argue the fucking point of what has FF14 brought to the table that has been different or unique from other MMOs.
And I refuse to even entertain that argument myself as someone who does do Savage, because I don't know how many times I have to say over and over and over again that there's nothing wrong with the raid we have. It's just when it is the only end game content we have, what is the point of the game at that point? Because I was talking about 11, if you would just pick and choose the end game content you wanted. Right now, there is only one piece of end game content, and if you don't like it, you're bummed. But even in the other one, there's I hate Dynamis, so I'm going to go do something else. There's none of that in this game, and that's where this game is lacking completely.
But even with 11, though, when they would add something that was derivative or influenced by a system that came before it, let's say ZNMs, right? So you had regular NMs that spawn kind of everywhere all throughout the map. You had special spawn conditions, yada, yada, yada. Every time you got a new tier of something to do, it added a twist. It added something that was slightly unique.
ZNMs, you had to go take pictures.
Exactly.
That was not the best system.
And it was
it was different.
Hang on. It was the system that people complained about the most when it was new.
Implemented.
I liked it because I could make money off pictures.
So, when it was added, it was a bit contentious because there were some people that were like, I don't want to have to go through the problem of taking pictures. But the thing is,
the rewards were bad, though. That's why.
Well, the rewards weren't great, and they could have been better. But the thing is that ZNM still had participation in them, probably through now. I mean, there was probably a ZNM that was up yesterday.
My would do ZNMs one day a week. That would be our ZNM day, and we would go do it.
And it would take, sometimes it would take 3 to 4 to 7 months to figure out, oh, this is exactly like pretty much the other content except for blank. You know what I mean? Sometimes it was really fucking obvious, like having to take pictures of mobs. Sometimes it was a little less obvious, and only through hindsight and reflection could you go, it's exactly the fucking same. But again, with FF14, it's just a straight read of it. You can go through the first Omega fight and go, yep, this is just fucking Alexander with different animations.
With FF5 glamour.
Yeah. And it's just
not even FF5 glamour. It's just FF5 mobs. The glamour is awful.
Even pushing myself through it felt pointless. Anyway, you can give us a call live here on the show. Limit Break Radio on Skype, 810-515-8715, limitbreakradio.com/Discord. You can challenge us on anything that we're putting out here, but we do still have limit breaking music ahead, so I kind of want to move through this next part as quickly as possible. So,
all right, so basically, there's two things that we're gonna talk about here. And they're the little snippets that sort of accompanied the Legend Returns announcement on the site and the Return to Ivalice announcement. So this is what it said for our Return to Ivalice. This is the first sort of glimpse we've gotten into how it's going to sort of start out. It says, this morning, residents of Kogan awoke to find above their city an airship unlike any ever seen. Yet, while of Garlean design, the vessel distinctly lacked the bleak outfitting common in the Empire's war machina. No, this was the Prima Vista, private stage for the Majestic Imperial Theater Company, a troupe having won acclaim across Garlemald for their timeless work, The Zodiac Brave Story, which begets the question, why are they here? The answer to that question and more lies in the self-same legend of which they sing, the Legend of Ivalice.
Okay.
Guys,
okay, so
this upset me.
Does Final Fantasy IX aside, does this sound like we're going to go into Ivalice, the big mystical place in the sky? We're going to the Wandering Minstrel type fights?
Yes.
Are we not going to go to Ivalice? That's a place on Hydaelyn?
Right.
Or the shards?
That very much does seem like what is happening.
Does anyone like this idea?
No,
at
I think
all?
it's fucking terrible.
It's dumb. But I would agree that it doesn't sound like we're going there, but didn't they also say this was going to be canon to Ivalice lore as well? So I feel like that.
Yes, but if you
that we have to go there at some point, or if it's just a story, it's not canon to Ivalice at all.
Based on what they just said, it's a legend, basically, just like Omega's FF5 stuff is. So I think that's where the canon comes from. But I think you're right. I think this is essentially the same thing that happened with Omega, whereas Omega put us into a digital space.
Right.
Now we're just going to go into like an improv space, right?
But this seems like it's I
don't know.
This seems like it's a big theme amongst this expansion, right?
Doing stuff that doesn't matter.
Yes.
That has no bearing whatsoever on the fucking world.
Everything's
pretty
made
much.
up and your choices don't matter.
Pretty much. Well, because, I mean, and I feel like it was started a little bit with Alexander, because Alexander was literally bubbled off into its own thing, and now it's just degenerated into
make-believe?
Yeah, dreamscapes and fucking legends.
Daydreams.
Well, that's why I'm hoping that there's actually some more background lore to where this theater company came from. If this company came from Ivalice, they are telling the story of Ivalice here, and then they actually will like somehow wrap us into their story and then bring us back to Ivalice with them. I might be okay with that.
See, here's what I would assume is that the story that is being told is from Ivalice, and is that story that we're being told as characters in the narrative of FF14, that is canonically added to the world of Ivalice. But what we end up doing as players for combat is a recreation of that story. So it holds up that it would be canonically addable to the world of Ivalice, because it's just a story, and that our participation in it is minimized so that it, there's definitely a firewall between those two things. Yeah.
I don't know. I'm also a little confused by the fact that they had to bring up that this company has also done a story called the Zodiac Braves across Garlemald. So are we not going to get that story? Do they know some lore about the Zodiac Braves that we don't? Are we not ever going to get to learn that? Because now it sounds like their new show, The Legend of Ivalice.
I mean, we've got some of it. We got.
Yeah, but we know that all the original relic holders are where they got the Zodiacs from and stuff. We know a little bit about it based on the relics, but we didn't really know much about Ivan Curlfist until we got the Temple of the Fist dungeon at the last patch. There's so much more about each of the original relic holders we don't know.
Right.
And I'm curious if the Zodiac Brave story is literally just a made-up story that they told just to make Garleans laugh and clap, or if they actually know some lore, and are we ever going to learn that, or is that no, that was their past story, we're just teasing you by saying it's called the Zodiac Brave story, and now they're going to sing you The Legend of Ivalice, the musical.
I don't know. I don't know. But I think, honestly, I do think that if that's the narrative device that they're using, it's a bad one. It's a really, really, really bad one. And I think anyone who is really looking forward to Return to Ivalice is going to be slightly disappointed by that.
Unless every single background song is a Broadway musical version of something that's already in this game, I will eat it up.
No, it's not, that's not.
But I am a huge musical geek. But
so,
no, I don't think it'll be like that either.
So we got a couple of visual previews here, and this is over at the patch 4.1 site that they recently updated. I will say this: fucking Rabbanasser looks great. Oh my god, that looks so fucking cool. Just that screenshot right there. I wish
it's gonna be so exciting when we can actually go there and walk around.
See,
it's just a backdrop, guys.
But here's the problem: is that if it is one of these just a legend destination where it's not an actual place on the map, this is exactly what the fuck I was talking about. That I did not want is I want a place to go to that's a part of the world. And now all of this development time has been spent recreating. What is a very intricate Rabbanasser right there. I've had all that dev time devoted to that, and it's not even in the fucking game. It's not an actual place in the fucking game.
People only do it for 4 weeks, maybe 6, depending on their drop with Glamour.
Well, we've got the roulette now too.
Oh right, of course. Yeah.
I mean, actually, I'm actually glad they're adding that. That will definitely help cycle that content around. But still, I don't know.
Yeah.
Stuff that should have been around in 2.0.
It's like I really hope that everything we're saying right now is absolutely wrong. Like
We
with
always
every
hope
fiber,
that.
With every fiber of my being, I hope this is.
But
not
they
what it is.
never let us down. I
It
mean, they
is.
always let us down. Yeah. All right, so and when it comes to the MSQ, this is the snippet we got. It says, the liberation of Alamigo signals the end of an era of tyranny. Here, on the cusp of a new age of freedom, her people must decide how they will greet their future and reconcile with their past. What path lies ahead for Lise and her efforts to rebuild the nation? What choices plague Fordola from within her prison cell? And to where will Raoban return now that the dream for his homeland has at last become a reality? By
he's
the way,
the legend.
I'm putting my money on Raoban being
Yeah.
the legend.
Raoban's the legend. He's
Oh, yeah.
returning to Alamigo. Dun dun dun.
Of course. Yeah.
The end.
Yep. And honestly,
they just gave it away.
I think that our MSQ going forward now is basically going to be dealing with civil unrest. There was actually a line that I remember specifically. I don't know if it's I'm pretty sure it's after you've beaten everything, where someone says something along the lines of, we need to decide what kind of government do people want to put in place. I think we're going to be dealing with like rebellions and in-faction fighting and crap like that.
Yeah. This is
Why do we care about that shit?
We don't.
We just fucking liberated it for,
Yeah,
for
now we just
no
leave it up to
reason
them.
at
I don't
all.
know.
And now we gotta.
That's not how the world works. Think about all the in like United States. We liberated a country. We stay there until they get some form of government, can run themselves, then we leave. Like that's how it
Oh,
works.
really?
When
Do
you,
we leave?
When you, I mean, that's how you basically. If you're just gonna invade a country, take down its leadership, and then leave. That's the biggest jackass thing.
That's Lisa's job. That's why she fucking quit the
I
Scions.
mean, that's true. She did leave
Here's what
from
I
us
think.
because she has our perspective and can also now help them. But
I say
it's
we
gonna-
go back to the syndicate, right? We talk to Lolo Rito or Paplamo or whoever the guy who is still alive is, right?
Leggy?
Yeah, sure, whatever. And we set up the SIA, the Syndicate Information Agency, and then we just control Alamigo as a shadow government.
I mean, that's actually pretty close to, what happens.
Real life.
Yeah, I mean, that's a little more realistic there.
A little too real there, guys. Sorry.
Is that
the science of America?
Oh gosh. Okay. I didn't mean to take this discussion in that direction, but I mean,
is this satire in an FF14 show? Because I don't think I like satire in an FF14 show.
A little too real.
Yeah,
All right. Yeah.
I'm so underwhelmed by everything that we've gotten for 4.1.
Just everything.
Yeah.
like,
I think the only thing that I'm even remotely interested in, Fordola should still have her crazy powers, right? Like
the fake echo she was shoved into.
like we didn't take that away from her. We just kind of like temporarily
sealed it
with that
we
thing.
see it, yeah, it's just blocked. I don't think it's gone.
So I mean, obviously, wherever we have her imprisoned, I would assume we have some type of dampening device up. But she could, allegedly like break out and cause some crazy havoc, right?
No. Okay, she just said what choices plague Fordola in her prison cell. She's gonna fucking turn
Like,
to
Fordola,
be good now.
Ugh.
See, but I don't know if we'll
Yes.
and
you know what? No,
definitely
no,
know
and here's-
she has feelings, though. Like, you know that she's not pure evil. You know, like, she hesitated before she blew up her own people. She's just too far gone on her own.
No,
Stop
that's the thing. We're gonna completely forget that she murdered her own unit. We're gonna forget that, and she's gonna become one of the Scions of the Seventh Dawn. Juxtadomus prediction. Hashtag it.
She's replacing Lise.
We're also not fucking gonna forget about Gosetsu and Yutsuya. They're not coming until fucking 4.3, 4.4 because they are the fucking Warriors of Darkness. We're gonna get teases of them throughout the entire expansion.
Oh, same thing with Eden and Papalima. We see them after the credits, and we didn't see them for like 3 more patches.
Yeah.
They'll take us into Garlemald, Yatsuyu, and Gosetsu, I think.
Yep, here we go.
Yeah, Gosetsu's gonna use her to like get back into Garlemald and
History fucking repeats itself.
Juxtadomus has spoken. So spake Juxtadomus.
Thunder rolls.
I mean, oh my god, I have so many fucking concerns right now. I have so many fucking concerns.
Turban says that they're gonna come back with Gosetsu, and Yasuyu is gonna come back with a little baby.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't.
Like, he was shot and
That would
she
just
was
be a
like
hate
crushed.
fuck, though,
They
at that
can't
point.
fuck.
And they hate
They would
each other.
kill each other.
Well, she's unconscious, so that's kind of a
I guess
no,
that makes it
Gosetsu's not a rapist. Stop.
Gosetsu was
no.
shot.
kind of a dark implication there.
Look,
I didn't make the
He's
implication.
a very, he's
Trust
a very
me.
noble character. Stop.
Trust me, when you
Just
get
like
shot
Chloe's
multiple
not-
times, you
Chloe
can't
is
rape
not
anyone.
in child labor, and Gosetsu's not a rapist. This is like not a thing, guys.
So anyway, yeah, no, I just, yeah, given what we've got, I'm not terribly optimistic. If they do the whole Dragon Ball Z move with Fordola, I'm not gonna be happy about it.
Like if she's the Vegeta.
Yeah.
Did I make that? Was that right?
That was right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Who's the Krillin?
Poplimo.
Oh, okay.
But
he's
Krillin
He's
always
dead.
came
He's
back.
dead. He is dead.
Okay.
Okay.
I got that
Actually,
right, too.
you know what? That works. That holds up. That holds up.
Who's Bulma?
Nika.
No, Sid.
Bulma? Really? I
He
mean,
just makes shit and then disappears again.
I guess.
I just know
He's the
that
tech
Bulma's a
person
girl.
who makes all your airships and then disappears. That's exactly.
But that's
what
more
Bulma
like
was there for.
Bulma's dad.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah. So
Who's Goku Hano?
What?
stop it.
Is that a person?
No.
Who's the really racist black guy with the
Mr. Popo?
Yeah, that guy.
Jesus.
He's just one of the like semi-god people that lived up somewhere.
we don't need an actual explanation of it, Nika. That's fine.
But he clearly has no idea anything about Dragon Ball Z. So
No, but
And here you are engaging him again.
exactly.
I
But my
fall into
point,
the trap every time.
my point still stands. If they Vegeta Fordola, I'm not going to be into it.
You know, you need to get another one bites the dust drop, and whenever you get Escalia or Nika to engage you when they shouldn't have, you just play that.
That's a good
and
one.
we shame them.
But even still, though, Vegeta was still not like, even though he was on the good guy's side, he was still an asshole, which is what was likable about Vegeta.
Well, you can
That's-
still be a
that's-
good guy and be an asshole.
That's Fordola.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, but again, why am I explaining the joke? Again, the joke of saying that they are going to Dragon Ball Z Fordola holds up. Anyway, is that it? Is
That's
that,
it.
That's
Whoa,
all?
whoa, whoa.
Oh my
Do we want to
gosh.
talk about the 3 new sorry, the 2 new the dungeon?
No.
The new one?
No.
No.
Wait,
We
what
get
was
to
it called?
drown
What was it called
Escalia.
again?
No.
The drowned city of Escalia.
The Drowned City of what was it?
Escalia.
No.
No.
Oh, yeah, it's Escala. Oh, Escala. Scala.
No, I want to do something like positive and that's actually make us happy, like listening to cool music.
Yeah.
We just did FEC.
Anyway, so if you want to give us a call before we move into limit breaking music here real quick, Limit Break Radio on Skype, 810-515-8715, limitbreakradio.com/Discord. And
I like this. And Heroes Vegeta.
I mean, yeah,
Good guy, but still an asshole.
that's fine.
Good one, Infinity.
I'm fine with that, except at no point did I battle against the Warrior of Light. So
You battle against all the other Warriors of the Light every
I was gonna
Sunday.
say every episode you do that. Yes, I agree.
all right, I'll you know what, I'll accept that.
So
I'm okay with that.
Is Xeno Seto Kaiba then?
Oh God.
Who?
Xenos?
No.
Saying Yu-Gi-Oh.
Oh my
Seto
god.
Kaiba?
Fuck off.
You've activated my trap card, Yugi.
Basically, actually, yes.
Why did you
Blue eyes,
answer?
blue
Why
eyes,
are
white
you
Shin-
why?
Blue eyes, white Shinryu. I've got to do it.
Why?
I'm sorry.
Why are you doing this, Nika?
Because you know, this is why. Because then she's a teacher. She has to put up with stupid questions and engaging them every single fucking day.
You
She
are
can't just
not wrong.
ignore them.
You are not wrong.
Shinryu, obliterate.
Oh my god. Can we do
More
limit
Yugi.
breaking music now?
Yes, and actually, you want to know why I'm particularly excited about today's limit breaking music?
Why is that?
For the first time in the history of this segment, Juxta has actually helped choose some of these songs.
Okay.
So we should skip those ones.
Yeah, I think that we should definitely not listen to those tracks.
This is what I think.
Excuse you?
Hold on, this is what I think. We'll start because the first one is by him, right? If it's a good song, his next one gets to go as well. But the
Okay.
first bad one that happens, we're done with his songs.
Okay. All
All
right.
right.
Because I've got 4 songs that I didn't get a chance to put on the outline.
Yeah,
that I
oh,
could
they
just,
don't-
They
We
don't
have-
get played, man.
We have tons of stuff.
there's a
today.
lot.
Juxta has the majority of them on here. I'm seeing. What?
Yeah, you
Yes.
see, like when you have a child, you maturity grows and you have to put forth a lot more effort, and then you just become a better person when you have a child. I recommend to anyone having a child because it really changes your life and your perspective on life as a whole.
I seriously...
I believe you. That's why I want
Nika
children.
understands.
No, Decibels nailed it. I expect every link that's been submitted to be a link to a fucking Dino Track song. That's what I expect.
That's
It's
actually...
a Stormborn
Because none of us
song,
have
it's really
actually
bad.
none of us have actually clicked these links. I don't think any of us have actually previewed any of these tracks.
I sent
No, I
Nero a song to listen to, and he never responded to it in our host chat.
Sure didn't.
I
Sure
was
didn't.
really
You know-
offended.
You want to know why?
Why?
Because fuck you. That's why.
I ignored it too.
Well, fuck you. You would like it. It's got a bunch of people singing really fast, and I can't understand it. It's right up your
and
alley.
that's why I would like it?
Yeah. It's the kind of song you like.
All right. So Limit Breaking Music, if this is your first time joining us for Limit Break Radio, or if you're a newer listener, we haven't done this in a while, but we do like to highlight the amazing musical talent that exists in the FF14 community, because there is considerable music talent here. And of course, we commonly check in with Husky by the Geek. We use a lot of his music in the show. But there's a lot of really unique sources of music out there. And so we like to try to find stuff that's not necessarily just Husky, that's not necessarily just, some of the big YouTube cover artists or remixers that are out there. We like to really try to, find very unique tracks. Some of these only have a couple of hundred hits on them total. So everything that we talk about, please make sure that you go seek it out. We'll have links to each of the tracks that we play over at our website, limitbreakradio.com. Kookie's really good about making sure that the track list and links get posted, so you can come back. If you're listening on the podcast, you can come to limitbreakradio.com and find today's episode posting, or if you're listening live in a couple of days, we'll have this link. We'll have the link list up. So we're going to start here. Juxta, this was your submission. Now, normally I have an opportunity to kind of go through these and listen to see if they're even worth
Up to snuff.
Yeah, if they're even worth listening to, but I didn't get an opportunity to do this time, so I have to say I'm a little concerned. I mean, like I said, I've got 4 tracks of my own that I know are going to be awesome, in case you guys fucked it up. But I'm really interested to hear what you guys brought to the table. Last time Nika did it, I was
majority of them,
I was pretty fucking impressed, I got to say.
Thanks.
So
Shut up, Nika.
Juxta, this was your selection to lead us off here. What can you tell us about the Garlemald Hymn Rock remix?
It's by M. Wind.
Small M.
Small and capital Wind, all of it capital.
Okay. And this is
and it sounded really good, so I put it on the list. and I don't have musical background hearing these powers like you.
Where did you get it from?
Oh, I got it from YouTube.
Okay. And how many subscribers does M Wind have?
Not very many.
Under 1,000.
858.
See?
Yeah. So
they might have less after this.
If you end up liking this track, M Wind on YouTube. This is the Garlemald Hymn Rock remix. With the guitars and when it's on it this reminds me a lot weirdly of Rammstein.
Yeah.
I normally hate the Garlemald song, but the guitar does it. Yeah.
I can't tell if
I'm not sure how I feel about this.
I can't tell if they've taken just the original track and put guitar and drums on it. Yeah. Or if they've taken like the vocal stub and worked with it. I just can't tell.
It to me just sounds like they took the vocals out of the original and put this behind it.
Yeah, it does. But that's actually really hard to engineer unless you have the vocal track separated.
That's right, yeah, because you wouldn't just be able to take off the OST, just the vocals.
Right, yeah. See, I also think that if if they just had access to the vocals, that they would have probably changed the tempo a little bit too. Because this is very...
Actually, I just kind of feel like there's another instrument I hear peeking through sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There we go.
That was an interesting rendition, but...
Yeah, I have to say that's very unique to start us off here from M-Wind. 2,047 views on that. We'll have links, again, in our chat room if you're listening live, but also over at our website, check limitbreakradio.com. Excuse me.
Do I get a pass on that?
I mean, it was pretty good. Yeah, I think so.
I found
think
a lot
so.
better
It was
ones
all right.
later, too.
Oh, really? Mm-hmm. You put some forethought into
the selection, into how many, the way I put them in to the thing.
Really?
No, I didn't. I just put them in the order I found them.
That's what I thought. Yeah. That sounds like the jokes I know. All right. So this one is from Zephyr Cradle, which is, and this one is actually a selection from Ascalia. And Zephyr Cradle is Japanese. A Japanese a collective, I think.
I was gonna say that's the one the big like album collection that you had found.
That's
right?
correct. Yeah,
I actually saw that a few weeks earlier.
That Chronostalgia. That's what it was.
Yeah, I had found that a few weeks earlier through one of like the FF groups on Facebook that I had saved as well. So.
Well, and we had talked a lot about their remix album that was for like the 2.0 music, and you know they do a lot of really cool creative stuff, and there's a lot of variation between the tracks. All right, this one from Zephyr Cradle called "Fate of Atma Remix," which.
Fate of the Atmas that nobody does it anymore.
Yeah, right. Like I'm not sure.
Is it just like silence?
I definitely feel like we've featured this before. I definitely feel like we've played
but a lot of
this.
people have remixed this song, so it's possible.
I was going to say I actually put up a list in this thread of ones that have been featured before. I would hope that Ascalia had the forethought to look through it.
No, this one's new. It's like a month or two old. So.
No, it's not.
Are you sure?
I'm 100% sure.
It came out June 2017.
Nope.
Okay, it was posted on YouTube in June.
There you go.
It is not their official channel.
Nope, it is sure not. This has been around for the better part of 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, because this
and I'm almost sure that we featured it.
The channel this was posted on is Games OST Remixes, so it is not the original channel.
I know that we featured this before. I know for a fact that we featured this before.
I don't know. It doesn't.
Yeah.
It's hard for me to say one way or the other because even if we haven't featured this specific one, I'm sure we've featured this song before.
No, I am quite sure. It's not even labeled correctly, and I'm pretty sure that we talked about it as a part of the Zephyr Cradle discussion that we had the first time. So, thanks, Ascalia. Way to not do any fucking research. God, we should call him. we should
sleeping.
It says that we've featured a song by Daijin, Fate of Atma on episode 46.
There you go. See?
That's not the same song, is it?
Same fucking song. I guarantee
I don't have a link to that one.
Guarantee you.
Well, it's the same song, but not the same remix.
No, it is the same remix. Stop arguing with me. I know that this is a fact. So
he has the ear for it.
That I'm not going to bother playing through to the end of it since we've already.
Ascalia fails.
Fucking
Juxta doesn't.
So
I just look even better now.
Let me explain why this is frustrating, because this confirms that I can no longer let this segment go over the air without checking your guys' work first.
Well, Ascalia's work.
No, all of yours. I mean,
but it's Ascalia's fault.
Yes, it is. It is Ascalia's.
To be fair. Kahlo, you did put this up there without curating the list at all.
I didn't put that one on there. Ascalia put that one on there himself.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay, that's fair.
Yep.
So that's definitely frustrating, and this is one of the things that I've said for a long time. We've got to have an ongoing list,
which we
of
do.
Everything that we've ever featured.
Yeah, we do.
Yep. We do, and I put that in this thread.
We do have a list. I just looked at it.
Yep,
it's open right now if you want to see it.
All right, let's we'll move on to the next track here, Because on top of everything, this is also the most difficult segment that we have to put together.
Yep.
And I'm like 90% sure that we featured this as well.
What?
I'm like 90% sure that we featured
The locks. This is new to Stormblood.
Okay, yeah.
We haven't done any Stormblood.
Yes.
You're right. Okay.
All right, now I chose this one, and actually one of the reasons I chose it because normally I'm not partial to doing like covers on the show, right? Especially ones when they're just piano. But a discussion that we've had quite a bit since Stormblood came out, and specifically opinions from you and Nero, was that there hasn't been a lot of songs that really jumped out at you in Stormblood, like, comparatively to A Realm Reborn and even in Heaven's Ward. A lot of it's been very weeby and not very Final Fantasy-esque. And when I first opened this up, I think this is one of the few tracks in the entire expansion that really does sound, to me, distinctly Final Fantasy.
All right. Well, so this is from Luna Forsyth.
Who only has one subscriber, by the way.
One subscriber, 78 views on this video. Let's fix that right now. This is the Locks Nighttime Piano cover.
They use that same graphic down in the corner that.
Yeah, that was the thing that made me think that we had aired it before.
What zone is this from? Oh, the Locks, duh.
Just said that. Wake up.
It's like from the Fringes. Funnily enough,
there is a Fringe remix later that you picked out that we'll be talking to. It kind of reminds. Go ahead, Nika.
I was just saying, one of my friends is also doing some 14 piano covers. I'm gonna look into that. This is really pretty. It's very soothing. So. Kind of a lot of 14 music lends itself well to piano covers, I feel like.
It kind of reminds me of, and I think this is probably where Anira was thinking we've done this before because we've done so many versions of them. Twilight over Thanalan.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of been spoiled on that song.
Yeah.
And what is that? Like the winds over...
The windy breezes or whatever?
Yeah.
Yep.
Can't listen to those anymore.
I can't help but be really impressed by people that can do both piano or really crazy guitar stuff just because of the dexterity that it takes.
They're really good at, I have to imagine they're good at fighting games.
Oh, I thought you were going to say something completely different.
What about people who can play multiple instruments without even trying?
Oh, yeah. Well, they're just, I don't know, they sacrifice souls or something.
I mean, granted, the part of their brain that says you can have fruit cocktail next to sandwiches doesn't work, but that's somebody else's joke. I can't claim credit for that.
How often does that happen? How often does your fruit cocktail end up next to your sandwich, though?
This is nice. I
can't believe they only have one subscriber.
Yep.
You guys go fix that shit right now.
See, that's why I feel like people who just do covers get a little bit less credit than people who do entire remixes and stuff.
Also, I feel like this is a Japanese person, and I feel like they post a lot of things on Nico Nico, and I feel like they probably get a lot more subscribers over there than they use YouTube.
How do you know that they're Japanese?
Because they have the comment all also posted in Japanese, and their Twitter is Japanese. So I feel like they probably just kind of use YouTube as an afterthought and just export it here and then just leave it.
That's probably fair. But still fix that shit, man. It was great.
Someone saying it reminds them of I Am Setsuna. There's just something about it that reminds me of just a lot of older Square type stuff.
And it's a slightly just more tuned down take on what's already there.
It's almost like something you'd hear in a jazz club. It's not jazz.
Yes.
But
No.
But it's something you hear in the background at
No.
Yeah.
You nailed it. No. You are 100% right. There was that little part in the middle where it went up and it sounded a little bit more optimistic and upbeat. That was absolutely jazz piano. That was 100% jazz piano. Yes, I agree.
I actually even place, you're right, that is a little bit slower and smoother than the original one in the game, because I think the original one in the game of this actually starts to get on my nerves near the end because it's a little bit too upbeat, but with it kind of mellowed out like that, really, really nice.
Yeah.
So good job. You passed. Can't say the same for Escalia.
No, you can't say the same thing for Escalia. That was embarrassing.
Who is the bad today?
He is.
Juxta's a good.
I still think we should call him and wake him up and yell at him.
He'd probably just hang up on us.
So I'm gonna actually skip the next one on the list. We'll end with that so that we know for a fact that we're ending on something high quality.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
So we'll just skip. We'll skip Husky. We'll come back to Husky, and we'll check out this one from now. Kahlo, you had actually found this. This is the. Whoa!
Spoilers.
There we go.
Yep. Now, I'm usually not partial to 8-bit music. I mean, I know that has a whole genre onto itself, but very, very rarely do I really like them myself. But I put this one on here because we don't usually get a lot of, opinions from Juxta on, like, composition and stuff like this. This is 8-bit stuff, right? Like, he's been living in that world for ever. So this is sort of my submission to Juxta.
And I'm going to just throw this out there. I found this, but I didn't put it on there.
Oh.
I didn't think it was good enough to be on here.
Oh. So. I actually I may agree with you, but let's.
What's that genre called though? The 8-bit
retro
stuff.
Chip tunes.
EDM.
Chip tunes. But
the Root Sandstorm.
I don't know if this really counts as it because chip tunes is more of like a mixture of modern and like retro stuff.
I think yes. For most people to take it from 8-bit to chiptune, you've got to add another instrument somewhere in there, and this is all pretty square wave.
All 8-bit.
Yeah.
Have we figured any 8-bit remixes before?
No, because I actually find them really grating and annoying.
Because I remember really loving this 8-bit Sophia remix, and now that I see it up in the corner, it's by Emwind, who we just featured in a different song.
Right.
And he didn't do an 8-bit, the other one that we featured, so I can't remember where I heard the Sophia one before.
Oh, is there Sophia 8-bit one too?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it is by Emwind, the other person we featured.
I see what you're saying.
But so I'm just trying to figure out where I heard it before if it wasn't from our Limb Breaking Music.
This isn't as grating on me that 8-bit stuff usually is, though.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this feels like, I feel like I could see this in the background of, like, a Sega Genesis game. Like, I just want to play it right now.
Sega.
Because that was my first system, so...
Okay, I guess.
I mean, yeah, it's not bad. It's not... Like most 8-bit shit, I'll turn it off after a few minutes. But this is pretty well done. It varies enough to stay interesting, but you've got such a limited palette of what you're working with in terms of songs or in terms of sounds that it can be tough.
People are saying very Shantae. Or very Pokemon, someone says.
Yes, I could see this in a Pokemon game, for sure.
I just wish there was like a little bit more to it.
Yeah.
If it was,
that's why I didn't add it on there. Is because I felt like it should have been something more.
If it was more chip tuney and there was like just one modern instrument in there, I think they could really.
Lakshmi's song as a whole is really pretty but really repetitive. After it gets to the one verse and the one chorus, it's just the same thing over and over again.
True.
So I feel like Lakshmi's song as a whole needs someone to reinterpret it with just a little bit more oomph in general.
Yeah, I agree.
That's fair.
Because I love this song. It's just.
There you go.
Okay, now, with that said, I actually did put an 8-bit song on here, and it's if you want to skip to that one so we can keep the 8-bits together.
Well, first of all, that theme was from Coconero?
Coco Nero?
Coco Nero. You can find that on YouTube. That's where we found it. And again, that's called the Lakshmi 8-bit theme.
Was there another 8-bit song that you got, Juxta?
Yeah, it's down here. It's like the third from the bottom. It's Stormblood Boss Battle version V.1.
Okay.
From DJ Eki. It's on SoundCloud, and the beginning, I have to say, is a little repetitive, but there's just one part where it kicks up and it actually starts, and it's
okay.
It gave me the neck tingles.
All right, let's do it.
I like neck tingles. Let's do it.
Yeah, I'm gonna say off the rip, it's got a pretty simple.
Just give it a sec. It's just tingling you. It's playing with you. It's going up your thigh. You're not sure if you like it or not yet.
It's too long.
Yeah.
I see where it's about to start.
You're like, oh, it's
the bass.
If this would have started a lot earlier,
Yeah. You know what this sounds
I
like?
wouldn't have
30
gotten into
seconds
it
to
if
get
I'd
there.
found this.
You know what this sounds like? This sounds like if the Postal Service did FF14 covers. That's what it sounds like. Right? Like I'm waiting for Ben Gibbert's whiny, breathy voice to start singing to me about dandelions or some shit.
Marcus on the chat says Mega Man. Yeah, that's exactly the vibe it gave me. Is Mega Man.
Yeah,
2.
that's fair.
Yeah, Mega Man-y is fair. Yeah, I would say that.
Very short though.
Yeah.
It went
It's
back
version
into this
1,
chart.
so
It only needed, like 2 measures of that, which is about 3 seconds rather than 30 seconds. It just needs that bump, 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 just a couple times, and then boom, kick it off. Instead, it had 30 seconds of that.
Yeah,
That was a little much.
I completely agree. One, it would only have taken one measure of the open. We could have hung with the part
cool
that really, the cool part a little bit longer. But they decided not to do that. That's okay though. That's Djekki, Djekkie, over on SoundCloud. And, of course, that's the Stormblood Boss Battle V1 remix there. All right, so this one was chosen actually by the pair of you.
I found it first, and he had reposted it before seeing that I posted on there. Yeah.
So this is a Kugane
Double
remix.
approval.
Which I'm gonna be honest.
You're a fan of the music in Kugane?
I hate it.
Oh, okay.
I actually hate it, but a few measures into this one, they do something really interesting with it.
Really? All right. So, again, this is from YouTube, and this one is coming from Sasaki, and you can find their account at Music Sasaki on YouTube. But here we go. This is a Kugane remix. If it'll start.
He's got to push play on
Oh, yeah, he's got to push play on the video. I see it now. God.
Gotta walk up to it.
I do like the tempo better than the original one.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Oh. Like the strings.
Snaps.
I like the snap.
The snap.
The snaps are cool too.
Because I'm not sure where it could go from here. There's one or two places it could go.
It leaves.
Let's see. Hang on. Okay. This is okay. I'm glad.
Not where I expected it to go.
I'm glad that we had the two kind of 8-bit tracks preceding this, because this is what I think of when I think of chiptune.
How you do it right.
Yeah, and this is there's a lot of energy here. I like this.
I like dubstep feel.
Yeah, I like that little wavy breakdown that they have going on. That's pretty fucking cool.
They somehow find a way to
It's like a chiptunes version of dubstep.
They take the weebiness out of it for me.
Wait, what is that? I wonder what that expression was in Japanese. If that was the character from the game. Somebody just shouted something in Japanese.
I don't know.
Doesn't matter.
No, I'm curious if it's the character that is pertinent to Kugane.
Now, okay. Now I actually like this because it's a little bit more reminiscent of the original, and it provides a juxtaposition. Shut the fuck up.
Huh? What?
Shut up.
What?
It provides a juxtaposition between the two different tracks, and I actually like that quite a bit. All right. I mean, I was hoping maybe
Something new.
for something,
bigger build up
for the
there,
third time, to go into something really unique and different. But yeah, this is good. This is good.
Kugane club music.
So these are pretty good, and I'm gonna give you guys credit, but I still think that the couple of selections that I've made beat the shit out of every track we've heard so far. Proving once again I'm the only one who knows what I'm doing.
You only got a formal education in all of this. That's all.
Fine, next time you do it.
This would be fun on DDR.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, so it's basically the same thing, just repeated twice.
Yeah.
Oh, that's... I wish they had done more with that instrument right there.
With the strings?
Yeah, with that kind of smoothed out version, because that staccato kind of plucked playing was kind of cool.
And then there was the violin, the long string.
Yeah, I wish they had stuck with the long strings a little bit more. But I gotta say, impressive.
Yeah, I was really impressed that they hooked me, considering I got burnt out in that song in the game so fucking quick.
Yeah. So now, all right. Here's my question. Do we flip over to my tracks?
I think we should give Juxta one more chance, because didn't we say we'd give him one more?
I'll give him one. I will give him one more. But I mean, there's 4 different tracks left here.
Juxta, did you want to pick which one we do?
Yeah, you've got to choose your last one.
Okay, well, I'm going to go on a rock one. So do the Last Battle, Deltascape Savage by Catherine JG.
Fourth from the bottom there.
Yeah.
Fourth from the okay, here we are.
Which is another SoundCloud one. I'm actually surprised you actually went to SoundCloud to look for stuff.
Yeah, I tried to do it.
Well, but that's the thing, though, is that
SoundCloud sucks.
Well, SoundCloud does.
People put their podcast on there. Why?
I can't explain why anyone.
And SoundCloud has changed a lot of its policies. You can't download stuff anymore really easily. You have to pay for shit.
Right. I mean, it makes sense if you're a music creator to put stuff there as well. But yeah, you can't find necessarily everything through YouTube. And you think you should, but you can't. So, all right. So this is from Catherine JG. And to be fair, this is a cover of Final Fantasy V and 14. So this is the Last Battle / Deltascape Savage.
Yeah, that theme.
Spoilers, Nika.
Okay. All right, I like that build up there to the guitar.
Yeah. This is. I gotta say that this is pretty legit. I dig it. I dig it a lot.
Fast tempo and the changing all the different types of instruments really makes me think the changing pace of a battle.
Yeah, I second that.
Yeah, it feels a little more like death is imminent.
Well, the double hi-hat is really helpful in that. The way that the drummer is playing those cymbal hits really, really quickly, I think increases the tempo and the pace of the entire song.
And it's interesting just to see the production notes this person posted. They used 4 different music creation softwares to make this. So I don't know how, they use different programs and then splice them all together. I have no idea. They use a different program for the strings and a different program for the guitar and then the different program to mix it all down.
Right. So basically, if you make the percussion first and you treat every instrument separately, you can go instrument by instrument through different programs and make it.
I agree. If they remake FF5, I would love to hear this version of the battle music.
Yeah, I mean, it's not deviating very much from the source material, but it is just, kind of
like a solid battle theme, though.
Yeah, super solid. And I would love for this to be in the actual game instead of what we got. I think this is really good.
See, one of the things that I always look for in songs is especially, when it's all just instrumental, is that it feels like it's telling a story and it's not repeating itself. As cool as the Kugani thing was, you're right. It did repeat itself a few times.
Yeah.
But this feels like you're always going through something different. That something different's always happening.
Different phases of the fight.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of repetitive by this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm pretty good with it by now, but I enjoyed it. I think that's definitely a good track there. Oh, wait. Hey, no.
No spoilers.
Be quiet, SoundCloud. I think they did a very good job with that. So, good choice, Juxta. Good choice.
You.
So
you did better than Escalia today.
Yeah,
Did I do better than Kahlo?
Give it to him.
You want to do one more? Yeah. Do you have one more?
Oh, do you want like a slow one or the one I picked out for Nika?
I was asking if Kahlo had one more.
No, I think you played all mine.
Wait, you picked one out for me?
Yeah, I figured you would like one.
Which one?
Well, I'm not going to tell you over the
fine,
air.
fucking play it. What is it?
That's 14. It's right above it. It's Automata Musicorium Lalorium Remix.
Now, I actually think that this was going to be one of my selections.
Because this is also by Zephyr.
Yes, this is from Zephyr Cradle, and again, that the album that they put out for Heavensward remixes and Heavensward music is really, really amazing. We'll share the link here in just a second. But actually, no, as I'm listening to this is not what I thought it was going to be.
Did you pick this one because it has the word automata in it?
Yeah, I figured it was like Nier.
I doubt it. But we'll see.
No, because it's an FF14 show.
Sorry, it's already started playing, Nika. I'm sorry about that.
Oh, sorry. I usually wait for you to cue your voice.
Yeah, I didn't do that. It just ran into it, so sorry.
Ooh, I kind of like that.
That's sound cool.
Yeah, slow start, but when those what would you call it? Like a hymn in the back?
Yeah, it's like
a chant.
like a
Halo
chant.
song.
Yeah, it's a chant.
The Halo song.
Ooh,
that was cool.
I like that part right there.
Okay, which song is this? Oh, it's the
It's the Alexander.
Yeah. No. It's the Fractal Continuum, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. You're right. Yeah, no, you're right.
I feel like it needs to go somewhere else, though. It needs to build more for me.
I kind of
agree. It definitely does sound like it would be a Nier, though, with this chanting. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
This does sound like a Nier song. It's got the same kind of chorus as all the Nier songs do.
Yeah, Zofia saying as this lot. That's what it is, yep.
This would be nice to put on in the background if it doesn't go anywhere else, but just like for solid, really intent listening, it put me to sleep.
Yeah, I kind of agree.
Well, I'm hoping it's going to hit some.
I don't.
Something
At this point,
no.
I don't know. It's a 5-minute track. There's a lot. There's a lot of opportunities.
The style of chant, though, is definitely being like, oh, is this a Nier song? No.
I think it improves the original, though, for sure.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
See, this is where, right here, they could start building something right here. They could very, very easily, because they had that change up. Now you've got that kick drum underneath. You could very easily be building something here.
We're prepping to something.
Come on.
Oh, the typing in the background, that's a weird addition right there.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah, I wouldn't reminds me of Phantasy Star Online.
Whoever said that this could be the Play Online music has nailed it.
Yeah, this part for sure.
Gym Link.
Hang on. This is not what I wanted. Yeah. This is not. I mean, listen.
It's nice. It's definitely nice. Yeah. I was expecting a bigger build-up.
It's a good remix, and they had. I heard 3 missed opportunities to really be able
to
kick
us over the edge.
And there's a part of me or I'm waiting for it to happen.
You're still waiting for the payoff.
Yeah. And I want to say, you know who's really good at that? NPC is really good at that, where, maybe the first half is so unique from the second half that you hit the second half and you're like, oh shit, that's a totally different song. This never happened. This was the same song from beginning to end. It did a good job, though. It
did. For what I mean, that's obviously something that's intentional. It's very atmospheric.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, atmospheric is a good way to put it.
And the original song is like that too, but not as nice to listen to. Like this is nice. I'm wondering where they got this chorus from, because I'm almost wondering if it is from a Nier song.
You know the Twitch channel you always put on when we're doing CPR pre-production? That would go really well on a channel like that.
Yeah,
It's
like
just
those
good.
chill out
Yep.
chill out tracks. Yeah, for sure. I do like this part that sounds like a music box. I think that's kind of a cool take on it. It even sounds like there's some gears going in.
That's a cool way to end it. Yeah. So you said this is a song for Nika, right?
Yeah.
Which, I mean, it's good, but overall boring and could put you to sleep. So good choice for Nika.
Thank you. I was inspired by
Anyway, so yeah, there you go. That's from Zephyr Cradle, again called Automata Miscorium Lolorium Remix. Check it out. You can find that. You can find it at YouTube, and also I would assume it's Zephyr Cradle, although I'm not sure where.
Yeah. Now, are you guys ready for a Nero to blow out your ear holes?
Are you?
With his dick holes?
Are you? Because I'm pretty sure that's about to be what happens.
He's going to impregnate your listening orifices.
Now, again, we just talked about Zephyr Cradle. There is a website where you can pick up this album. It's called Life of Ishgard. It's a Final Fantasy XIV arranged compilation album. The second one that they've done, the first one, we played selections from it. Very impressive. It's basically, they have the same aim again. It's 2 CDs. 2 CDs. 9 tracks on the first disc, 8 tracks on the second, total 17 tracks. And they go all over the place, and not necessarily all of them are from Ishgard. For example, there's a BSJ Club remix of Oblivion here that we'll get to in just a second, because that may be the best version of Oblivion that I've ever heard. But it's definitely worth picking up. You can find it at htd/ishgard.tumblr.com. There's a direct link. You can check out the 8-minute demo that's over on SoundCloud, or you can download the full album, 192 kilobyte MP3. It's available in a zip file. Just go and download it. I cannot speak highly enough of this. Starting with the very first track. This is from a arranger or remixer or whatever you want to call it. They're called Lix, L-I-X. And the track name here is called Active Time Design Error. This will be my first choice here. No, I told you to download this earlier, Nika. God damn it.
Kookie just put the link in the chat.
I told you to get it set up before we start.
You did.
I don't remember that at all.
You just missed it then. Wow.
Already. Now, granted, again, it's not quite Stormblood music, but this is new FF14 music. Yeah. Oh my god, this is what I wanted from all these other fucking tracks right here. This is what I fucking wanted, a proper goddamn build-up and payoff.
That's what she said.
Forward and back and forward and back. This is very well done.
It's a very, I don't know the word I want to use, kind of happy for what I would expect from you.
Upbeat.
Yeah, there you go. It's very, very upbeat. Yeah. You throw some, Japanese on here and it's an anime song.
Granted, it's coming out of Japan, so that's not that.
I can't even find the download link. I'm giving up.
Which song is this originally? Does it say on there?
Is it the forward and back one?
Yeah, it's forward and back.
It's from Alexander.
It's from Alexander.
Oh, I hear it now. Yeah.
But I feel like they've worked a little bit of something else in there too.
Now I really hear it. Yeah.
Yeah, there's the forward and back, and then they worked in like an Idleshire melody in there.
Yeah.
Holy shit, Nika! If you don't stop fucking talking about this, I'm seriously gonna be fucking pissed because I did give you this fucking link.
I don't remember seeing that at all.
All the Alexanders didn't have lyrics in them. That was only the final fights, right?
This is the third one.
Yeah,
The third.
and it did have lyrics in it.
Okay, because I feel like I'm waiting for something else that it was previously missing.
Yeah, and they all did have lyrics. They was just talking about like bolts and time, and it was like background lyrics more so.
See, this is the Zone remix. They're the Zone melody that I feel like they've just injected here.
Yeah, see that horn where that is in the background right there. That I really like the addition.
It really pulls the whole fucking thing together.
Yes, that's like the thing that sort of like I felt like it was missing just a little tiny something.
Yeah.
For a minute, I actually thought that it was just like a really distant like Vocaloid type of deal.
No.
Optimistic feeling song though.
Yeah, it's very upbeat. I think it's triumphant. It's a good way to describe it. And then you get a switch up here.
Yeah, definitely things that Alexander didn't make us feel.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Definitely no switch ups there.
Or triumphant feels. Every time it resets like that.
Was that this song really stagnated in the actual fight itself? Like we would start joking, like singing the the lyrics, but it's very repetitive. Like it's done after the first time through. It's the same thing. Hearing it again.
That ending was real nice.
Yeah.
Putting a definitive end on it like that, I always like that.
And just not fading it out. And I agree. And again, this is from the Life of Ishgard album that you can find over at htd-ishgard.tumblr.com. You can download the entire album over there. Check out the 8-minute demo, or you could just keep listening to us because we're going to take you through a couple of more tracks here, including this is literally hands down my favorite Oblivion version.
Shiva's theme, right?
Ever, yes.
Oh, this is like my favorite song.
Yes, and Nika, I don't know if you saw it. I put the individual file into the host chat for you so that you can listen along.
Yes.
Because I know this is your favorite, and I know that this is just going to elicit tons of reactions, not just from in the room, but also from our chat room as well. So I do want everyone to hear it. So again, coming off of the Life of Ishgard album, this is put together by BSJ Club. And it is a decidedly, I think, a very much more punk rock take on Oblivion than I've heard previously. So let's check that out from BSJ Club.
little disappointed they couldn't redub the singer, but
No, I like the new singer. I do
too.
wait, is this a new singer? Or they just took the old singer and then put a
No, this is
definitely
That's real.
That's definitely someone different.
No, 'cause my eyes hold I say and say goodbye. You make you want the snow walk all on me.
You can tell it's a singer that doesn't know English, but
Yeah.
at all. Just because the formations of the sounds are a little off.
I don't know if you guys remember that band from the mid 2000s, the Distillers, but this sounds so much like the Distillers, and I fucking love it.
It does sound like something that I feel like I've listened to recently. I know it's not them because I've never heard of them. I don't know if maybe I'd have to listen to it again, but the Black Mages did a version of, I think the opening song from FF10, but with a female vocalist. I think that may be what it's reminding me of. Otherworld?
I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Yeah.
I don't know.
FF10 song.
Yeah. The Black Mages did a version of that, and they used the female vocals instead of male.
Yes, they did, and they had English lyrics to go with it. Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't feel like this has any call.
No, it might not. Maybe it's just my head's being weird, but that's, I don't know. It's something.
I mean, but this song already had a female vocalist, so there's no change here.
I love how they soak her in reverb for this part.
Yeah, like I like the mix, but it's just I don't want to bag on her for her English pronunciations, but like the singer clearly has no working knowledge of English at all.
Okay, well then you gotta say the same fucking thing about Soken when he sings it, because he does the same shit.
Yeah, but here's the thing. This is the reason I like that, because I don't think that they're going into this being like, oh yeah, no, you know, her English is passable enough. It gives it something that's very unique.
Yeah,
because if you were to give her, whether it's an English person singing it or a Japanese person who did understand how English worked, both of those would sound distinctly different to what you're listening to right now. And it definitely gives it a very, very unique flavor because of that. No, I think it's probably an anime song that is reminding me of from like childhood or something. Yeah,
sure, yeah.
I think that's what it is.
I like the choice of reverb.
Yeah, I do too. I actually think that this is probably my favorite version of Oblivion.
It's just it's not too much different from the original though, because the original was already a rock song.
Yeah, no, you're right. They could. Ooh.
Oh, okay. I do like this guitar solo again.
Yeah, I dig it. And here's the thing: is that it's got.
See, now they've got the guitar in the background too.
Yeah, it's got this very kind of like mid 2000s like Hot Topic punk rock vibe to it. That I don't go out of my way to listen to that type of music, but this I think is a bit like. I love, especially like remixes and covers, when people will use that aesthetic without,
Well, and I think that's the reason why everyone feels like it sounds so familiar, is because it perforated that time period so heavily. Everyone's heard some example of that at some point in their life.
Right. And
that's why it's just like, I feel like I've heard that somewhere. What song is that? What song is that? But I think it's more reminiscent of the entire genre.
Yeah, no, I agree. I totally agree. So yeah, I dug it. It sounded to me like, a Japanese version of the Distillers or L7, any like that kind of stuff. So I really dug it. It's definitely one of my favorite versions of Oblivion. So all right, let's check out a couple of more songs here. This one. I mean, we're basically just going in order through the opening of the album. But this one is Field of the Borderless, and I'm actually kind of not sure who is on the arrange of this, mostly because it's a bunch of squiggles.
Moonspeak.
and I don't know what that means. But when I plug it into Google, it brings up someone named Kokeke on Twitter. So
Kofefe?
No, Kokeke.
Oh.
So I'm going to go ahead and assume that's who it is, and go ahead and give them credit. But this is the third track off of the Zephyr Cradle album, the Ishgard album, and this one is Field of the Borderless.
I'm grinding tomes right now.
There's a lot of the original track in there to start it off.
The first dungeon in Ishgard, right?
What? Is this Keeper of the Lake?
No, not Keeper of the Lake.
It's the flying theme, you guys. Goddamn.
Yeah, it's the theme when you're flying, and it's like the generic flying theme.
Yeah.
Oh, who has those still on?
I do, because every single mount has, like, most mounts have different music, so that's why I keep it.
Most mounts. Only the special mount, Sneeko. Check your mount privilege.
Oh, there's someone is saying that this is also the music when you fought Midgar Sormer.
Yeah! You son of bitches.
I don't think so.
No, that may be right.
This is called Field of the Borderless, because you have no borders when you fly.
So here's the second half of the track.
This sounds a lot better, yeah.
Yeah, I like this.
Thank you.
Again, very like optimistic and upbeat. I bet these guys have a totally different view of the game than we do.
Like this would absolutely be what I would use if I needed to do a corporate presentation. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And it's, you know, like 3M, moving the future forward. But I do like the orchestral take on it. Like overall, you know, I feel like there's not a lot of remixers who operate in this sort of space.
That's fair.
And so when it's done well, I definitely like to take a listen.
And cue the Apple conference as Infinity Fox.
That is sort of what it sounds like.
Especially that end right there.
It ended with the FF little, like...
The flourish. The little flourish there. Yeah. Totally.
Prelude, that's what I was going for.
I liked that, but here's my fourth selection. And again, this is all coming off of the Life of Ishgard album. You can find it at htd-ishgard.tumblr.com. Full download is available over there. You can find all of these tracks, including this one. And I have not forgotten about our Husky track that we're going to play before we get out of here. But this is the last one in terms of my selection from Life of Ishgard. This is from YNO Regenetrix, and we've played a track of theirs before here on Limit Breaking Music. And this one is there's two remixes that are contained in this one track. It's Close to the Heavens and Lost in the Clouds. So from Regenetrix, this is Fly Through the Clouds. It's a bit of a slow start, admittedly.
But it's I like it though. It makes you feel like we're sneaking around, like trying to solve a mystery.
I never tired of this song, though, to be completely honest.
Honestly, they did when they selected this piece of music to be the piece of music that's constantly repeated. They did.
Where is it from again? This part.
This is just like everywhere.
Yeah. There's a lot of this. I always notice it in the churning mists when you're near the what's that giant place
Annex
next to
Shrine?
the Moogles?
No.
I mean,
The Zenith. The Zenith?
Zenith.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also hear it a lot in Kurthus.
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
This is sort of what I expect out of a video game remix, right? Like this kind of instrumentation and stuff like that.
There's a lot of complexity in this.
So if the other tracks felt very happy, this one does feel very somber.
But it's still upbeat.
Well, it's
There are
more
parts of it.
it's more upbeat than the original. That's for sure. I like how they add the drums there. It's a nice touch.
Oh, it's not done.
Oh, we're just over halfway.
Yeah.
I like it. You think it's done, it comes back a little different.
It actually builds up 4 different times,
Yeah.
which I think is pretty goddamn cool.
All the other ones on this album are like this. I'm gonna listen to all of these.
You absolutely should download this album right now. And now you've got the drums going with the fucking full-on violin that's being played full tilt.
You know what I think they do really well is we talk about a lot of times people when they're doing remixes or covers taking it and sort of making it their own in a way. I feel like what they do really well is taking what was there and augmenting it, because again, these are the same people that did the Automata one that Juxta had picked out, which it's all very atmospheric, just like they're originally designed for the different zones.
Well, it's not. This is not the same performer. It's the same collection of music.
But they all still have that in common.
They do.
Yeah,
you're right.
Nice build to the ending.
It really is. Like, this was probably one of my favorite tracks off the whole album. I just, when you have a slightly different take on a track, like, it makes me feel differently about the original.
Mm-hmm.
I think that a good cover should do that. Should make you feel slightly.
Covers specifically, yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's go to our last one. We'll go to our last featured track here. We moved through a lot of music today. This has been a hefty
every single
limit-breaking music.
We've done a limit-breaking music, we've done more and more tracks.
Yeah.
Like, I think our original LBM only had 3 or 4.
I think 4.
Yeah. So, of course, as I had mentioned before, ending today on Husky by the Geek.
Oh, yeah.
Stormblood Boss Dungeon. Here we go.
I still listen to his superhero medley on a constant occasion.
Now, what Husky does that I absolutely just love is that he rolls so many different genres of rock in together and in on themselves that it's not just a unique take on the music from FF14. It's a pretty unique take on how to approach a cover overall.
It's something that's very unique to him as a performer, as an artist.
Yeah.
The times when you can actually like pick up the two distinct tracks laying on top of each other, it's so good.
Yeah. And this is like a lot of his medleys. He has a pretty amazing ability to take multiple themes and roll them in together.
I think that's why the superhero medley is like so cool, because it's 3 different tracks that sound like one. Oh, get it, Husky!
We're spoiled by Husky.
We really are. We really, really are. This part right here with the added harmony is really good. That doodly doodly doo.
Husky is a whole nother animal.
He's so good at the doodly doodlies.
The doodly doodlies.
Husky
You can doodly my doodly.
It's so distinctive. You hear them like, oh, Husky.
Yeah, Husky by the Geek, master of the doodly doodly. Here, wrapping up limit breaking music for today.
He also has a Doma City dungeon
he has a Doma
He does.
castle.
That one's good too. I
He
can't decide
does.
which
Yeah,
one.
and the thing is that we had to pick one. We don't want to like double up.
We don't just want an
Husky.
LVM of just only Husky music.
No, we can't. We can't just feature
I know.
Husky. So we got a little bit more time before we wrap up the show here. So if anyone did want to call in, Limit Break Radio on Skype 810-515-8715, limitbreakradio.com/Discord. Now's the time to do it. We're going to try to take as many calls as we can before we wrap up here. But we did have one little thing to talk about before we wrap up the show. Nika, you and I sat down a couple of weeks ago and we watched Daddy of Light. Or
yes, we
at least
did.
I watched one episode of Daddy of Light with you. I can't say that I was terribly pleased or happy about it. But it was a thing that we did. And we, as Sevo Kevo has pointed out multiple times, we plugged it and then never talked about it. Mostly because we ran out of time. Also because it doesn't fucking matter. But I guess let's talk about Daddy of Light and see if anyone wants to call in here. Did you guys watch it?
Not yet. No.
No.
All right, can I just give my review of it?
Are you
overall?
mental?
I mean, if you want.
I was the one who I watched it all the way through. Let me just give like a preface for it. Okay, like everybody going into this knew it was going to be cheesy, right? Like okay, it's over dramatized. Like you could see from you could see from the trailer it was going to be cheesy.
I'm a girl, I like dicks.
Thank you. But I think cheese aside, I was everything I've seen from everyone, and I will agree with this, is that it was much better than I thought it was going to be. Like I expected it to be cheesy, but there were actual moments where I was like, oh, I kind of have that similar feeling in my life. Or, there was a whole part where something sad happens and I actually like teared up for half a second.
Please don't admit that. Please don't.
No, I'm a very sensitive person. I cry at commercials, okay? Like where a dad's like in the military and comes home and the kid sees them and they hug. I cry. Like I cry. I don't even have a parent in the military, but I don't care. I'm super sensitive. But I just feel like they were very clever in the way they would use the music from Final Fantasy XIV in the real life situations when he was like snooping through his dad's desk and they would play like some of the music from the game. And I thought that they actually, for as cheesy as it was, it's worth a watch.
Especially
because it's based on a real story.
I will say this, okay? Don't watch it because it's based on a real story. The only redeeming quality that it had was that the way that it wove the game into the story was not the worst thing ever, right? Like, it was passable in terms of, hey, this is a show that is sort of like in its premise based around an online game, and how do you
give it a 10?
How exactly do you make that translate? I think that they did a good job of that, but that's it. Like, it was not a compelling story. The actors weren't very good.
The acting could have been better. I think the story was compelling enough. Like, you know, like, what do you do when your dad suddenly quits their job and you're like, you know, I'm going to try to bond with him by getting him to play the game that I play. I feel like there's a lot that could be said for family bonding in general over, like, you know, a lot of us bond with friendships and we make relationships over the video games. And I feel like in the end too, like, there was a couple points in the second to last episode and then the last episode of just kind of like a side spin-off story that just talks about how the adventure on Final Fantasy XIV isn't just a game. It's about the connections and relationships you form along the way with the people that you meet. And
Except Square Enix undercuts that with their own fucking game by putting in matchmaking and making it like that you don't have to talk to anyone ever at any point.
I mean, exactly. But I feel like all of us have that experience with an MMO in one way or another. And I feel like that the feel of like, oh, hey, these people are like friends. They bonded over this. This is cute. Like, we all can connect with that. And I feel like while watching that, I was remembering like the nostalgic feelings I had for FF11 and for early on in FF14. And it also really makes me miss the fact that I don't have that feeling now in 14.
Okay, so the best part about this show about Final Fantasy 14 is your memories about Final Fantasy 11.
Right.
Well, guys, Board Prince, I think, puts it perfectly for me. Unless the story is set up to follow LBR's original dissection of the teaser, I probably won't watch it.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know what? I mean, I'll admit
things that make you like happy and feel good, like this is for you. But if you're not into that, then
I mean, I just look, it's not said outright anywhere during the narrative, but I think that my initial read of the trailer still holds up because at no point did we not see his dad take him downstairs, shackle him to the roof, and throw cornflakes flake by flake at his mouth.
Jeez,
we didn't see it. It never happened. And it didn't. And that's not to say that it couldn't have happened. And that's not to say that it didn't happen at some point off camera or every night off camera. We could just kind of draw those conclusions on our own.
Yeah, if there's nothing
contextually, to say that it didn't happen. So
very well could have.
Let's just go with that. Let's just go with that.
Yeah, I agree.
Let's Nika, did you have any more final thoughts that you wanted to share about Daddy of Light?
No, just if you like those cheesy little feel good, like it is Dad of Light.
It's Daddy of Light.
Daddy of Light.
It's Daddy of Light.
If you like cheesy feel good that'll kind of like make you emotional and also want some MMO, this is perfect. I don't think it's a Nero's cup of tea, clearly.
What a niche that's filling, guys.
But I mean, not really though. Like,
thank God that Netflix is stepping in on the content game and making sure that all 7 people who wanted this series was able to see it.
None of this was funny at all.
I know a lot of people who like just to find cheesy feel good things just to kind of make them feel good. And what better way than to actually find something that meshes with our hobby,
Nika, you do not need to explain this concept to me. I have been watching 100 plus episodes of the Pokemon anime for no reason that I can discern other than I might be going through some depression. That's the only reason. Queer.
So are you sold on any of the Ash is in a coma or has ever ending life theories?
Say that again, Nika. Fucking Christ.
Okay, Chibi-Side has a point that if you're going to watch something on Netflix, you're choosing between the Death Note live action or Dad of Light. Choose Dad of Light.
You know what? In that very specific situation, gun to your head, someone is saying you have to watch either Death Note or Dad of Light. Go with Dad of Light.
Wait, which one's shorter?
Death Note, because I think it's a movie.
Yeah, Death Note is a movie.
The anime.
8 episodes.
Death Note, then. Sorry, guys.
There's an anime.
What?
Of Death Note?
Carletta
I'm talking
wants
about
to
the Death
know
Note live action movie.
The live action
What
movie.
if Daddy of Light was directed by David Lynch? What would that look like?
It would never have gotten made. It would have never been
There'd be
made
like
in the first
empty
place.
donuts on the table. There'd be like
donuts?
women
What are
in
hang on,
women
stop,
in plastic rolls.
Stop. What are empty donuts?
What?
What are empty donuts?
Empty donut boxes.
No, that's not what you said.
Empty donut.
That is not at all what you said.
It's like where you like eat a donut, but you only eat the inside, so it's like a little.
I was gonna say, I feel like an empty donut would be like the ones that are filled with custard, but there's nothing on the inside, and so Juxta bites into it, and then he's just like, oh, and he would never have been so betrayed and heartbroken as he would be in that moment.
Yeah, that's probably fair. Anyway, I don't know how we got there, but
Sevo Kevo's fault.
Anyway, why are you watching Pokemon again?
Depression.
Depression.
I was gonna say that actually weirdly makes sense. The reason that he's got into Pokemon so hard is because he's just going through some shit in his life.
I'm going through some things.
Yeah.
I'm trying to work some stuff out. I mean, listen, I did see on Facebook the other day that the perfect encapsulation of millennial culture is to surround ourselves with as many things from our childhood while the world burns around us.
Well, it's his penis and he can do whatever he wants with it.
So it's probably what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm in the middle of working it out.
This is why we're so angry that Final Fantasy isn't like Final Fantasy used to be.
Right, like
it doesn't fit in.
I used to be, yeah, that's right. I used to be able to take all of my depression and funnel it into the MMO that I was playing, but I can't do that anymore because it's not as fun as it used to be. So now I've got to find things that I used to like, and I've gone all the way back to Pokemon. That's how far I had to rewind that clock. That's how sad my life is. So congratulations. You all got to have a nice little looky-loo on my personal life these days. That's fun.
What a totally amazing, excellent discovery.
Not really. No. This
sarcasm.
This is like finding sadness, digging deeper and finding more sadness.
What kind of shit are you?
I don't really know. I haven't decided yet. I don't know. Anyway, let's go back to our phone lines.
We got somebody?
We do. Well, we're gonna run the last couple of minutes. Let's go back to our phone lines and talk to Ansari. What's up, Ansari?
Hey, what's going on, Aniro? What's going on, guys?
Thanks for calling Limit Break Radio.
Yeah, no problem. I've just recently started listening to you guys, probably within the last 2 or 3 weeks, and I don't really catch you guys live. This is the first time.
Nice.
But I do catch the YouTube videos, and I actually just recently started playing the game again. I've been around since 1.0. Of course, I came back during 2.0. And then I quit right after the Anima weapon releases, and then I came back during Heaven's Ward, and I quit again right after Alexander was released.
This is the of many people here.
So you are a living example of exactly what the fuck we were talking about earlier in the show.
Wow, that's so much shit.
Right.
Okay.
And what I specifically wanted to speak about today is the progression to get into endgame, and I got flamed for this the other day on the official Final Fantasy XIV Facebook group.
Can't post anything.
Yeah.
And I mean, I got really flamed for something that I felt like I had a valid point, and people agreed with what I had to say, but there were more people that were more willing to kiss Square Enix's ass than there were people that were willing to kind of stand up for themselves and say, okay, we're kind of fed up.
Oh, hold on. Can I think I can try to at least put a little bit of context on that. And I think the reason why is that anyone who would have placed themselves in quote unquote our camp or would have defended your opinion have long since exited the game and have stopped even engaging things on Facebook groups, because we've known for a long time that's just kind of what happens, that there are way more people who want to jump all over Yoshi P and Square Enix's dick as opposed to actually have the fucking conversation. And again, I think that's what is important about this show, and why we program the show like we do, is because when we see places where discussions like this should be happening and either they're shouted down or they're modded out of existence, that's fucked up. And that happens all too often at places like like our FFXIV and these fucking Facebook groups, and so the discussion never even gets to be had. So if we've got to be the ones to drive that fucking discussion point, we're going to be the ones to do that.
Right. And shit, I forgot what I was going to say.
So what was the point that you were making on the thread that got you flamed?
The point was that, the preview for 4.1 came out and everything was, fine and dandy about that. And, I got excited about 4.1 content. Of course, I can't get too excited about it because it is more limited than previous patches.
Sure.
But my point was, I got excited and then I also got kind of disappointed. And the reason I got disappointed was because, it's just... we've been doing the same goddamn thing since 2.0.
Yep.
Okay, in terms of progression to get into in-game, and now the reason I got flamed is because I don't raid. Okay, and it's not because it's not because I don't want to. I have been in an active free company since day one, and I have switched free companies. The reason I got flamed is because people misinterpreted things that I said. And said that I was complaining that in-game content is too hard, and I never said that. I enjoy the challenge. The reason why I enjoy the challenge is because, we love games like Dark Souls, right? Like, it's a punishing franchise, but it's rewarding when you finally beat that content, right?
Yeah.
But I felt like to get into in-game, it's almost like it's handed to you, and I got flamed for complaining about the tome grind.
Well, because the tome grind, it's bullshit,
it's
man.
Boring.
Yeah,
it's boring.
We've
been doing it for 4 years, and I made a suggestion. I said, well, instead of grinding for tomes, since they're already giving you gear in the expert dungeons, that is completely useless because you're going to replace it after a few runs anyways.
Right.
Why not grind those dungeons to get the gear from the coffers in the dungeons? It was just a suggestion. By no means do I think it's perfect. By no means do I think it would be the end-all replacement. But it was just one suggestion out of a multitude of suggestions to make progress to get into raid content.
And I think what you're experiencing with that with a backlash on something like that, which is you're right. That's a pretty simple suggestion. It may not be a cure-all, but it's something that would effectively change the way that people are playing FF14 right now. It would change what your goals are when you log on, and I think that's what is needed the most. So let me see if I can try to explain what's going on, because this is the same shit that happens to us all the fucking time. All the fucking time.
Like, the grind is just boring, and I thought something new and refreshing. That's the whole point. Refresh it, make it different. Stop repeating the same thing that we've done for 3 and 4 years, because at this current point in time, the same people that I played 1.0 with, the people that I played 2.0 with, I never see them online
They're
anymore.
Gone.
They come back for a new patch. They grind the fuck out of that patch, and then they're gone for 3 more months.
Yep. You're 100% right, and I think that's both frustrating and dismaying as an MMO player who knows that is sort of like not even the first or second step to having anecdotal evidence that the game is in fact on its way out, but like it's beyond anecdotal. Like we've experienced a game, an MMO like this dying enough times where we know what this ends up leading to. We know. Oh, geez.
Whoa.
Oh, sorry about that. And we're done with the show. Sorry about that. But the thing is that I don't buy it. Like, I don't buy the idea that Square-Enix doesn't know that this is a fucking problem. I don't buy the idea that Square-Enix doesn't realize that they're getting less people logging on every time there's a new patch, every time there's a new expansion, and they're logging on for less time. There's less time.
And now you're talking about coming out with a new patch with less content every odd numbered patch.
Exactly. And
you're shooting yourself in the foot.
and the people that sit there and they want to shout you down and they want to tell you that you don't know what you're talking about because you don't raid are the same fucking people that'll sit in our chat room or will send us emails when they hear an opinion that they don't like, and instead of arguing the point, they go, well, you don't know. You've never raided, right. You don't know.
I'm also curious how many of those people are sitting there screaming like, you don't raid, that actually raid themselves. I feel like actual raiders who are into the end game don't talk like that. And they also are aware of the flaws in the raid system that exists. It wouldn't be like, well, if you raided, you'd have content to do. Nobody who's actually raiding believes that.
I'm much more likely.
Those people who are bragging about it are just trying to flex their digital dicks anyway. So
yes,
you know,
and
I don't care how big your e-peen is. I don't care. I don't care if you've done all the raid content and I haven't. Like I said, I don't raid currently, and I would like to raid, but it's just there's no one on to fucking raid the game with. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, my free company's dead, besides like maybe 4 or 5 people who just recently started logging back in. Right. And I said the other night, I have 2 jobs currently at 70. I have Dark Knight and I have Samurai. Both are at 70. And I'm ready to start raiding. They're both at where not maybe I could enter Savage, but where I could enter the non-Savage part of the raid.
Yeah.
And I made a suggestion the other night when those people logged on. I said, hey, why don't we go do Delta Escape V1? I haven't done it yet. And the unanimous response to me was, meh.
Yeah, because no one needs anything out of it. You know why? Because they got all their fucking tome gear that's 10 eye levels ahead of that shit.
Yep.
All of that gear was DOA, unless, like me, you took your sweet motherfucking time with the content. Because, you know what? I actually use that shit. I actually use that gear. That's
another problem with this game is the way that gear is handed to you and how quickly it becomes useless. And I wanted to agree with you guys about the unending coil of Bahamut, and that the weapon that you would get from that is completely pointless if it is not at least 5 eye levels higher than what the current highest weapon in the raid tier is, or like you guys suggested, a ring that scales, something that makes sense because you can't fill that one slot anyways.
Right.
So it makes sense to have something that's going to carry you, if not to the end of this expansion and into 5.0, or, you know, whenever that comes, at least midway into, if not maybe 3/4 of the way into 4.0 and leading into 5.0, if that even happens.
Right.
You know, I view you guys as not being critical of the game because you hate the game. I view you guys as being critical of Final Fantasy XIV because you probably love this game as much as I did.
Yeah.
You know, when A Realm Reborn first came out and when a 1.0 was absolute shit, but I stuck around because even though I knew it was a garbage-ass game, I played Final Fantasy XI. I came into Final Fantasy XI very late into its life cycle, but it was my first MMO. I didn't like WoW. I tried WoW. I hated their toxic community.
Yeah.
And when I first played Final Fantasy XI, I fell in love, not just because of the game, but because of the people.
Yeah.
And that's something else that you're discussing tonight was that, you know, you kind of remember 11 more because of the people and the relationships that you built in that game than you do the actual content of the game itself. And with Final Fantasy XIV, you don't have either one of those. There's not really a lot of memorable content, and there's not any kind of bonds that you would feel like you would lose out on if you were to quit playing and never come back tomorrow.
Dodge in our chat nailing it right here. Man, this man is preaching to the choir.
Yep, you're in the right place. We're all on the same wavelength here.
Yeah, you found your home. Congratulations. You don't need to listen to any other show because that's exactly it. Like that is exactly it. And it's less about are like holding on to a connection in FF11 and more about the fact that we recognize that connection was there and that it faded over time. And my concern, I think, has been for a long time that connection was never really even formed with FF14 in the first place, or never formed well enough for me, at least for me personally.
I would say in 2.0, I felt that same feeling. In 2.0, I felt the same way that I did when I played, Final Fantasy XI. I had those bonds. I had those connections with people. I was logging on every single day. I was grinding every single thing I could. And even though I was behind some of my other friends who had more time to play the game, I was still there every day.
Yeah. And when you weren't logging in, you felt like you were missing out on something.
Right. And this morning, I literally got up. I play early in the mornings. I work for the Postal Service. I'm a mail carrier, so I'm gone. 90% of my day I'm at work. So when I get up, I actually get up about 2 or 3 hours before I even need to be at work.
Yeah.
I take care of my morning chores, and then when I'm done with all of that, I log into FF14 and I do my expert dungeon and a trial for the day. That gets my 100 tomes, and I do that 4 days out of the week to get my cap. But that's just something for me to do.
Yeah.
At this point, because nobody else is really around to play the game with. I forgot what my point was, but yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. So in 2.0, I felt like those bonds and that reason to play the game still existed, but you're absolutely 100% correct. That has absolutely faded at this point.
Yeah.
I just came back to Stormblood probably a month after launch because I was excited about Samurai. Samurai was my main in 11. So when they finally said, "Oh, Samurai's in 14," I said, "Fuck yeah, I got to come back for this." I got that job to 70 in a week, and then I had nobody to play with.
Yeah.
So
I feel like a lot of this, and I'm going to rehash what I was saying before. A lot of it comes down to just a lack of stuff to do, because I know a lot of the bonding in 11 came from being in a link shell with people and doing content with them on a regular basis. So what I have now is I have the 2 days a week I log in. I actually have very close bonds with the 8 people or the 7 people I raid with. Like, we have that bond, but then outside of that, everything else is just matched through the duty finder.
Yeah.
And I feel like if I had more content, like if we either had like 4-man content that was really hard, 8 or like 24-man content that actually required a free company that you couldn't just queue up with, and it was hard and it required all of you to be on voice and somebody to lead it, and then all of you to like kind of learn how each other plays, and like you actually bond as a group of 24 people, I feel like that could really do something for the yeah, okay, Strafe, I'll tell you more about all bond. But I just feel like that's where it comes from, is just being on and doing the content with other people. And right now, when there's only one type of content, there's not even the opportunity to form those bonds with people.
Yeah, no,
it's really lacking there.
I think you're right, and I think that when again, I think the attachment that people end up forming, on an MMO. Is, again, yeah, it's more about the people. And when you're not challenged with the people that you're playing with, there doesn't that ability to connect doesn't happen as often. Because yes, every time I queue into something that's 3 people, especially if I'm rando queuing, that I've never met before, but I also have no reason to speak to them. I've zero reason or incentive to speak to them at all. And I mean,
I love the dungeons where people talk, but how many times have you gone into an expert, you say hi, nobody says anything back, you do the whole dungeon, people leave, nobody says
anything.
Because there's no reason to. You're never going to see them again.
Exactly. Anyway, thank you so much, and sorry for giving us a call. I do want to encourage you to call back, call again, keep listening. Even if your interest in FF14 is waning, we do have a whole bunch of other shows that we produced, Finally Countercast, Checkpoint Radio, that should be able to keep you entertained if you just like us as personalities. But the thing is that, please stay engaged. Please stay with FF14 and with LBR. We do want to hear from you again. Our chat room just absolutely loves you. So, and sorry, thank you so much for the call. But unfortunately, we got to wrap this up because I feel like I'm going to die. I honestly feel like I'm getting heat stroke in here and that I may pass out at any moment. I've seen like my vision, like, how when you're about to pass out, you have dark spots in your vision. That's happened twice for me so far. Good. So I have to get out of this fucking studio.
Man, not Buttercup.
I'm dying. I'm serious. I'm so dying. We have 4 minutes until we hit, the fact that we've been recording for 3 hours. I'm pretty fine with putting out a 2 minute and 56 or 2 hour and 56 minute episode. That's fine with me. But guys, seriously, everyone, thank you for joining us here today. This has been a fun episode, despite how hot it is. This has been a fun episode of Limit Break Radio. Not just because you guys were calling in and we got to have some really interesting discussions around Zamfir and sorry, but also because we got to do limit breaking music, and that's always one of our favorite segments to do. So thank you guys so much for tuning in and for checking out the show today. LimitBreakRadio.com is where you can check out the website. You can find a full archive of our show going back to when this started a little bit more than 2 years ago. When we started the show back up 3 years ago now. I've lost fucking track of but you know what? You can check out the full archive going back all the way 10 years or 11 years now when we launched the show for FF11. So that's all available over at our website, limitbreakradio.com. I want to thank my crew, Juxta, Kahlo, Nika, and Kooky Persona for manning the phone lines. I'm Aniro. Keep listening. Limit Break Radio is a production of LimitBreakRadio.com and Bender Media Productions. This episode was produced by Kahlo Landis, Juxtaposition, and Kooky Persona. Final Fantasy XIV and Eorzea are trademarks of Square-Enix. Funding for Limit Break Radio is provided by Miri Kennett, Satori Komeshi, Dark Flux, Null Package, Shira Heartslot, Nexian Theta, Brian Alexander, Tommy Carlson, Hirsch Fersch, and fellow Limit Break Radio listeners. To support Limit Break Radio, visit patreon.com/Limit Break Radio. Opening music in this episode from Daniel Lambie. Listen to Man with the Machine Gun and other great tracks at facebook.com/Daniel Lambie Metal Gamer. Closing music in this episode provided by Husky by the Geek. Listen to this and other great Final Fantasy XIV and video game rock covers and original music at facebook.com/Husky by the Geek. In-game graphics for Limit Break Radio's Twitch stream are provided by Diamond Multimedia. Check out their line of AMD graphics cards and other hardware at diamondmm.com. Limit Break Radio and its hosts are solely responsible for its content.